right, welcome to the maiden session of a new System-Lite offering called War in the Heavens, a tale of gods and tragedies. Been a while since we did something with System-Lite. I think at least a couple weeks at this point, almost a month now since the last D-list. So I figured we'd try something a bit more serious. And we will go ahead and jump right into it with well, first we'll do our players. We've got Sim, Tet, and Zypher as our players here. They will be followers to gods in their own certain ways. I'll go ahead and read a intro here to go ahead and get us all introduced to what the expectations will be with this setting. Alright, so welcome to the System-Lite game of War in the Heavens, a Nordic fantasy setting based around gods and their followers. In this game there will be epic quests, heroic conquests, and horrific tragedies. Death is a real possibility, as this land is a dangerous place. Know that I intend for things to be difficult but not insurmountable, and be assured your death, if it comes, will not be without purpose. This setting will force you to make tough decisions, and every decision you make will have consequences. Remember that you have free will. Though you may hear divine guidance, ultimately you must decide your course of action in this world, and never forget that people, spirits, and gods of this land have long memories. With that, we'll go to our first slide. I'm going to turn the music up a bit on my end. Feel free to adjust it as you need to on yours. This is for where you're going to be, which is the Dying Wood. To the north of the island of Famar lies the Dying Wood, a land of haunting forests and ancestral Noriscan tombs. They dot the landscape, some visible on the tops of mountains, while others are tucked deep into the rotting limbs. This land is respected by the Norisicans, but believed to be cursed. This land is the closest to Fel's hold, and the dead sometimes see fit to disregard his decrees. When they do, the Draugr do not rest, and the spirits of the wood do not become mischievous little sprites. Many a pilgrim or treasure hunter has went to this land, never to return. You are here for whatever reasons suit you, and you fully intend to overcome the dangers that lie ahead in the Dying Wood. Just for anybody that's... all the players should be fairly familiar with the setting, but I'll do a separate video that goes through sort of the backdrops and everything like that for anybody who's interested in looking at it. I'll go through all my handouts and things like that that are available to the players so that people can be aware of what I'm talking about when I say Famar or Dying Wood and shit like that. Alright. You have been guided this way for one reason or another. At the edge of the Dying Wood, a strange, beautiful smell fills the air. A grove of flowers grows at the mouth of a cave, while an old man sits near a spit enjoying some sort of meat. Now, what I'd like everyone to do is roll a d100, and this is going to determine who arrives, as far as who arrives first, things like that. Alright, Gris. Okay. So Gris is gonna arrive first. So Gris, you make your way down the path. Go ahead and describe it, your point of view here.
Well, yeah. Just kind of walking, keeping his eye out in the surrounding area, looking for any wild animals that, you know, hop in front of him. Any test of challenge to him that he might be able to take, you know, to prove his might. And he walks up and smells some food cooking. Follows his nose. Smells good.
You see the old man's, you must be the first of my visitors. Come, sit. Share my fire.
The first, you say?
Yes. And he sort of pokes and prods this animal. It looks probably a bit like a boar of some sort. And he tries to pick at a bit of a slab to give to you and hands it. Be careful, the bones. Very bony boars, yes. Hands it to you. The first of my visitors today, yes. I am expecting more.
He'll take a bite. How do many more?
You look like a godly man. You should know the gods. They give portents, but never the whole story.
We are but entertainment to them.
For some, perhaps. For some. But for others, there is purpose. He sniffs the air a couple times. I believe our second visitor is arriving. Yes, he smells of salt and sea. He's come a long way. And Rothgar.
When you guys look at him, stands tall, an imposing figure, close to 6'6", clad in heavy armor. In his right hand, he clutches a large greatsword. In his left hand, he has just as large Viking. I wouldn't say Viking. Viking is not the right term in this game. A shield, or a character, something that looks like a Viking shield. You before you see Rothgar, you actually kind of hear him coming as the branches, twigs, trees, kind of, you can feel that there's something large approaching as Rothgar is approaching this small little camp. Rothgar himself, he's not accustomed to a lot of land travel, and many a time the excursions he goes on is something that the sea calls out to him. But the previous few nights, there's been a strange scent in the air around his homestead, and Swella, the goddess of the wind, has been kind of beckoning him towards the dying wood. Not someone to deny a goddess. He set out on the journey to find out what lay in the dying wood that needed his attention, and that Swella would be asking him to come on this journey. Rothgar approaches the encampment, gives a nod to Gris, who he doesn't know by name, and looks at the old man and says, "Hello there. Are you the one I've been looking for? The meat does smell good from far away."
Oh, yes. Could smell you and hear you before you came.
Ah, indeed. I shall take that as a compliment.
Do you hunger, friend? Surely you do, a man of that size.
Indeed I do, for food and adventure. But for now, I shall take some of that fine meat that you seem to be roasting there, if you do not mind.
Oh, yes. Come sit with us. Starts cutting off a slab for you as well and hands it here. Yeah.
I thank ye. My name is Rothgar Halderson.
I am Ingvar of the Caves, they used to call me. Points
Ingvar of the Cave. Well, quite a name to remember then. It's a pleasure to meet you, Ingvar.
And I'm so sorry, terribly rude. Who are you, my friend? Looking at Gris. I did not ask your name.
It is all right. I am Gris Bornson.
Gris and Rothgar. Good names. Hopefully you are just as capable as your names suggest.
Indeed. I hope you have a capable adventure for the likes of us.
You will hear soon, for I hear the beating of wings, and I think that tells me of our last arrival. And Sylvie?
So, as you're sitting or gathering around the fire, a shadow falls upon the camp. And as you look up, you see a winged horse soaring in a circular pattern, flapping its wings as what can only be described as a Pegasus comes down in the path before you, landing softly, more delicate than you think something of such a size could do. Its wings stretch out some 12 feet in total across its body in a wide flourish as it turns suddenly to face everyone. On the back of this Pegasus, not with a saddle, is a warrior woman. Across her lap sits a spear held as if it were a lance. On her back flows a woolen cape. On her head is a golden helm with flaxen hair flowing behind her. She wears a chain dress, and a curved blade sits upon her belt. She stands up slightly, pinching her knees against the horse, or the Pegasus, to look over its head, and inclines her head to one side. "Hello there. I saw you fire us from above."
Yes, I heard the wings beat, foretold your arrival. Just in line with my visions. Come, sit.
"Visions? Are you a seer?"
Nothing so important. Just an old man who sees things from time to time.
She looks to the men to your sides, them looking the rough-spun sort. "Are you in any danger, sir?"
Oh, I don't believe so. No, these two fine fellows, I believe they are here for the same reason as you. I have foreseen such an arrival.
The gods tell us to never doubt those that see into the future, and that we should always look ahead, for many have sight beyond the mortal men. And with that, she kind of instantly dismounts and walks away from the Pegasus, who kind of moseys up to nearby grass and begins to graze.
And he's offers you the meat. Here, would you like something to eat?
I do not hunger currently.
Very well. It appears there is not much left anyway, unfortunately.
My apologies, Ingvar. I seem to have been more hungry than I realized.
I offered the food freely. My name is Ingvar, as my companion said, and yours, my lady.
I was named Sylvie upon my birth. Tia? It is good to make your acquaintance.
And I believe that this is Rothgar. He points to the very tall, armored Norisican. And this is Gris Mornson.
Rothgar, Gris.
Hrothgar when you call out his name, the sword will be, the pointy end will be down towards the ground, and he'll kind of lift it towards his chest, towards his heart, and bow to Sylvie as she comes up the stairs.
Welcome to the fire.
I will enjoy its warmth. The skies get cold when you fly. And she kind of gives a smirk and walks up the stairs. And looks at Rothgar and sits down next to him without a word. She flourishes her cape out of the way so it kind of spins around and lays across her lap as she sits.
That is a mighty fine Pegasus you have there, Lady Sylvie. Not seen a beast of its kind in a long time.
It was bequeathed to me from my father's father. He is Wind Rider. And the horse kind of whinnies and flourishes its head back, kind of throwing its mane as it hears
Mighty
its
fine
name.
beast indeed.
And she nods her head.
Well, he closes his eyes for a moment and just like he's thinking very hard, he furrows his brow. No, this is it. All right. I have another fire inside the caves. Please come with me. I dare not speak too much in the open air, for all the woods and the plants and trees have ears, and they may be ears for the wrong sorts to hear. Please, come. Gets up and shuffles his way towards the cave, waiting for you guys to follow.
Hrothgar gets up and he says, "Certainly, Ingvar, after you."
I always like walking into dark caves, unknown what's going on in the inside.
Worry not, Gris. I am here to protect you if you need it.
I will be glad to have you protect me.
Sylvie would walk over to her, to Wind Rider before she enters the cave. And she leans in and whispers something into the Pegasus's ear, and then the Pegasus immediately takes flight as she turns around and walks back.
Alright, so Ingvar brings you inside, and it's fairly homely in here. There's quite a bit of furnishings. A lot of it looks like handmade as far as woodwork goes. This is a lot of time and effort to make a great deal of what you see here. Tables holding various accoutrements, instruments, obviously the bed and study up here. There's some old, very poor looking parchment, but parchment nonetheless. And everything appears a bit, thrown together, but for what it's worth, it's quite a decent establishment for a little cave off to the side. There's a large fire burning in the middle, with a few chairs and seats around it, once again handcrafted. Ingvar goes and mixes something over to the side and looks it over a bit, some sort of clear blue liquid, puts it back down, has a seat, and I won't ask why any of you have come. I am sure that there are a myriad of reasons, each of you having a different one. But I know that you come for what I am about to bequeath to you, this knowledge that I must give. And, well, I will tell you that no small task awaits ahead of you. Are any of you familiar with the sphere of Ovenhofen? And you can roll int checks if you would like to see if you are familiar with it. Target number of 9.
sphere of Overhausen, you say?
I'm gonna send you something.
Those are strange words to my ear, Ingvar. I have heard of no such sphere. Pray tell more.
Alright, I'm gonna give something to Gris here. There you go, Gris. Should have a whisper.
Oh, the one that's in the wells of Dolphin. There's an old legend about it. And Orsian said that the water from the well is magical. And the sphere within it gives the water its power. Is that the one you're talking about?
Aye, the very one. The one that can control the very energies of life. There's a hold north of here. The name is long lost to time. But I believe the sphere is left there, untouched for centuries. Not since the time of our ancestors. No, I am a man of both magics and science, sort of gestures around. I believe that I can use this sphere. Not for myself, but for the good of my fellow man. The sphere itself, the well, has a mind of its own. If a selfish soul were to touch it, well, I have heard terrible things happen to those who attempt to take advantage of its power without altruism in their hearts. I know of this hold. I've lived here for many years, and I have discovered its location not long ago. The hold is close, a few days north of here. But the Dying Wood is not a simple place to traverse. It sucks the life from those who live within it. Even on the edge, I feel my bones growing weary. Days drag on like weeks, and these spirits that live in this land weave cruel illusion. But if you gird yourselves, collect both the water from the well and the sphere within it, you can help me make right this land in this age of uncertainty.
So you mean to write the Dying Wood? Am I right, Ingvar?
It would be a difficult task, but yes, this place is dangerous. It brings horrifics to everything that exists. The undead, Droger, creatures not seen for many years. I've heard their groans in the night.
And the sphere, how do you plan to use it? Do you plan to extract its essence?
I must admit, I've never laid eyes on it, never had an opportunity to use it. I would have to study it for quite some time if I were to use such power. Well, I do not know. I only ask to have it to attempt to right this horrible land in the Dying Wood.
Well, if you want us to go traveling and chasing the old woman's tales from the village, or something that probably doesn't exist, but you have a name for it, and that's where we're going, I am in. At the very least, it could lead on to a fruitless adventure.
Alright.
Tell me, Ingvar, how should one handle this sphere? Can we just touch it with our bare hands, or we have to be careful when handling it?
A good question. One moment. He walks over and and he sort of sifts through the table. This cloth, he brings it back. I have tempered it with all manner of magical energies that I can imagine. If this cloth cannot protect you while you hold the sphere, nothing will. Wrap the sphere in this cloth, and then stuff it in your rucksack, however you wish to carry it. It should protect you. He looks and he seems that he's probably going to, but maybe not 100% certain. As for the water, I would think any container will do.
Sylvie looks to Gris and then to Rothgar and nods slowly. Fate has brought us together. Fate is not something to be shrugged off lightly. We are here for this orb or some other reason. Our feet will travel together, for it is the will of the gods. I will find your orb and return it.
Good. Right, well...
Ingvar,
yes.
we will try and get you that orb, but I make you this promise right now. If I find treachery in your words, or treachery in your intent, you would wish not to remain in this cave. That is my solemn promise as well.
Ingvar looks at you and leans back. I take your threats under advisement, mighty Rothgar. But know that in all things, appearances can be deceiving. I assure you, however, you have no cause for concern. He gives you a bit of a smile.
Rothgar nods.
He looks around. Brings up a very crudely drawn map, and sort of provides it to you. And it's the whole X marks the spot thing, and he sort of gives it to whoever wants to reach out and take it first. He's kind of indecisive. He's not really sure. He's just kind of holding it and looking around. He's like, not really sure who to hand it to.
Give it to me. I'll take a look.
He gives it to you. And it's a fairly clear path. It looks to be 3 to 4 days through the Dying Wood. Dying Wood is all you would know the Dying Wood, at least in passing. So to sort of go over what that is, it's a very ancient and old forest that has been tainted in one way or another. No one's entirely sure what caused it to be this way, but some people think that because of all the tombs and holds to this land, this north of this land, that may have something to do with it. Perhaps on souls that could not find rest, or the spirits, and some sort of mingling of magics has changed this place over the centuries, and it is known as a very dark and macabre type portion of the land. But at the same time, there are a great deal of tombs that are rumored to be out here from old ancestral Norisican settlements that have never been explored, reviewed, and for more base men, never been plundered.
Rothgar, after looking at the map, would hand it over to Sylvie so she can take a look as well.
She takes a cursory glance at the map, noting the direction that they are going to travel, and then she simply passes it over to Gris without a word.
Alright, Gris stares at it. No, seems easy enough, huh?
Yes.
should we get started in tomorrow, or should we start now in the dark?
It is about midday at this time.
Midday. Rodgar turns to Sylvie and he says, Lady Sylvie, what about the Pegasus? Will you be bringing it along as well?
Where I go, Windrunner goes. I will travel with you on foot, if that is what you like. Windrider will take to the sky.
Oh, no. I think it would be much better if you were in the sky, for you have an advantage that we on the ground do not. You can see far, if I'm not mistaken.
Far, but the canopy of trees. Your vision will be obscured to me.
Ah. Well, I learn something new every day.
It is
And
not...
gives you
She just kind of smiles and says, I cannot expect you to know what the earth looks like from the heavens. Perhaps one
Indeed.
day, Rothgar, if I judge you worthy, and more importantly, if Windrider judges you worthy, he may take you into the heavens and through the clouds to see the lands and the wonders that I have experienced.
And with that, Rodgar gives like a hearty laugh that emanates from the depths of his stomach, and he's like, ha 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 ha! If I am worthy, indeed. And maybe this adventure will prove to you and Windrider how worthy I am or unworthy I am. May my actions speak for themselves, Lady Sue.
May your actions serve you well. And she looks over to Griss and says, Are you eager to be off?
Aye, it's better to get started.
She kind of turns her head slightly and says, For such an expedition in the halls of the gods, well, such requires a feast. Should we not praise them by drinking mead and meat?
Lady Sylvie, you do us many an honor by saying those words. Indeed, if there's meat to be had, Rothgar would very much be delighted to partake in such a feast in the honor of the gods. And well, I do like meat as well.
Unless
Well,
you
Ingvar,
wish.
do you have any mead?
Oh, yes, of course. What kind of Nord would I be without one? He goes and shuffles through some cupboards. Here we are. And starts passing out some. They've been they're in glass bottles actually. They've been capped off even. This is not something that you see every day. And this glass appears that he did this himself.
Yeah, Sylvie looks at the glass bottle. She it looks kind of strange, but she gets up quickly and reaches for the glass bottle. And she looks at it with wonder, rolling it through her hands. What is this? I have never seen such.
I had a vision one day. Art requires compound. I've nicknamed it glass. If one heats this compound a certain way, uses air to form shape, and then quickly cools it, it retains that shape and becomes the container that you hold in your hand. It's a difficult art, but good for storage.
Wonder. And she passes it over to Rothgar. You can see through it.
Indeed. Well, one can see through it once I'm done with it.
That's amazing.
You are indeed a man of wonders, Ingvar. Indeed a man of wonders.
Oh, I am just a man of the caves. An old man who's been around far too long for his own good, I think. He takes a drink of mead and brings out some other meats that have been salt preserved and runs it with the fire. And this fire has been burning for, it doesn't seem to, it doesn't need stoked. It doesn't seem to be petering out at all. It just seems to burn quite heartily throughout the time you guys are sitting here enjoying mead and meats.
So Sylvie drinks heartily of the mead, and she will drink as much as pretty much possible, and falls into reverie. At some point, she lifts her, guessing we're drinking out of bowls, drinks, I'm not sure what this guy might be a little bit.
Bowls, horns, like they had the drinking horns, things like that.
So she has a drinking horn, and she stands and kind of stands on her stool. Friends, new friends, with a task from the gods, listen to my voice. Widely is flung warning of slaughter. The weaver's beam's web is wet with blood. Is spread now gray the spear before the hoof of the warriors, which Valkyrie fill with the warm red bannermen of the gods. Is the web woven of wounds of entrails, and heavy weighted with heads of slain, are bloods besplattered spears, the treadles, iron-bound the beams and the batten arrows. Let us weave with our swords this web of victory. Now give thanks to the gods for our hearty meal and this feast. And she raises her horn and takes a large drink, the mead flowing off her chin as she does so.
Aye, the puppets of the gods we are. I will drink to that.
Hrothgar gives out a huge, hearty roar and says, "Well said, Lady Sylvie, well said." And then from the folds of his armor, he brings out a large horn. "Indeed, I will go into battle by your side." And then he blows the horn mightily.
She actually kind of winces as you blow this horn in the cave.
Yeah, it's reverberating off the walls, and Ingvar is, oh, he drops one of his glass containers, and it shatters on the floor.
And she kind of laughs, and then she gives Hrothgar a punch to the shoulder.
Oh, Lady Sylvie, you do punch pretty hard. Indeed.
That was no punch. That was a friendly gesture. You would not think that I could punch so hard or move so fast. The god's blood runs through me. She kind of taps her chest.
Indeed, then we are blessed. Our journey will be successful with you by our side. And you there, Gris. Do you have the god's blood in you as well? Or are you just a plain human like me, adventuring for glory and honor?
I do not think my father was a god. May not know my mother, but my father was definitely not a god. A warrior, but not a god.
All warriors are gods to the slain.
Well said. So it shall be. With honor we march forward to bring forth this sphere that Ingvar seeks. May our path walk true, and our hearts stay true to the task.
For glory.
For honor.
She smiles.
For honor.
I prefer glory, but honor, almost as good.
So you guys drink and feast and have a good. Is this for the rest of the day, or is you gonna leave tomorrow?
Yeah, and as the day progresses, kind of seeing where Sylvie's going with it, and Rothgar joins as well. Rothgar then stands up and kind of expounds some of the adventures he's been on. He starts by saying, "This is not as a boast, but merely to explain to you my capabilities so you feel as safe by my side." And he continues to explain some of his exploits so that his fellow adventuring party, know that there's someone capable in their midst.
We are glad to have you with us. Hopefully when the time comes, you'll prove that your boasts are true and not just a boast.
Indeed, I shall look forward to such a time to prove my exploits are not boasts and prove that I belong to this group as well as the rest of you. For the gods' wills will be done, either through me or through my passing.
Aye, we will see.
All right. So the night passes fairly uneventfully. Other than the whole feast and drinking and eating and things like that, but nothing bad happens. Ingvar provides you with some provisions, unless you had already provisioned enough, but he provides you with some extra ones for the road ahead that should get you there and back. He has some pretty good stock here, despite living alone and being rather old looking. But he does provide you with water, clean water, potable water, meat, a bit of fruits that he actually pulls from his garden, and also, of course, some mead. So you're pretty well provisioned for this journey, no concerns there. And you set out. And I'm actually going to go ahead and, one moment here, just got to send some things out. I'll bring you on and do that shortly. So you guys can RP as I'm sending these things out, and just sort of set the scene as you're walking through. This is day one of your journey. You're just starting to get into the dying wood, and it for a little while it looked like what you had seen there previously at Ingvar's place. So some of the trees looked a bit old, a bit decayed, but nothing out of the ordinary. Kind of in a strange time of season. This is actually in spring, so it is a bit strange to see trees with dead leaves and empty branches that, during springtime, which is a time where life renews. But as you progress deeper, maybe a couple hours in, it changes very drastically, and it goes from a bit out of the ordinary to another world, essentially, is what it feels like. It is dark. There is a heavy, thick fog that hangs over this land after a certain point, and the fog seemed to just materialize from nowhere. There was no indication of a fog. It just was, and everything is dark. Light peeks through the pines and the dead trees just enough to light your way, and that you don't have to light torches. There's just enough light, but every step just seems to reverberate. There's very little noise, and what noises you do hear do not seem natural. They do not sound like animals of the wood. It is a strange place and altogether uncomfortable. And I'll get some things sent out to you here. Go ahead and RP it there in the meantime.
This fog reminds me of the sea. Its air is hiding the way for me.
Does not smell like the sea.
That is true. It smells of decay. An unpleasant smell, if you ask me.
Luckily, I have you two strong people to protect me in case something bad happens.
Something tells me, Gris, that you are someone who does not need protecting.
We all need protecting at some point.
That is true.
Sylvie's kind of walking in the back, and she has her spear kind of. She's kind of using it as a walking stick, and she looks about and frowns. An ugly place. An ugly place indeed. Cast away by the gods, no doubt.
There is beauty in everything. It just needs to be found.
Perhaps when we bring the old man his orb, he will restore it.
We'd be fools to think that the old man has nothing but just intentions for this orb. This fear, if it exists, could be a powerful weapon.
There is no fear. There is nothing. To die, life. The gods will only know our passing. Stride forth with courage. Ugly or not, tainted or not, we go forth by the will of the gods and our own prowess.
We shall. But there is some truth in Gris's words. The will of the gods must be followed if we can. Sometimes the gods expect us to act of our own free will. For sometimes that free will and that act might be the change that's required. Let us be aware of our surroundings and aware of this quest. Let us look at the orb through dispassionate eyes when we find it, if we find it. Let us make a decision then as to what it truly means to find it and return it to Ingvar. Until then, let us concentrate on the task ahead. I feel there are eyes upon us in this wood, though I cannot see what it is. Beware, friends. Beware.
Yes. We should be aware. We would have more than just this woods.
Alright, so as you're moving along here, you see a figure standing out in a path that's aligned before you, and it's a very rough path. Hardly be considered one. There's just enough debris and everything cleared to where it appears that at one point this was some sort of man-made road. But there's a figure with his back turned, appears in full armor, helmet, horns adorning the side of it curved downward. You cannot see his face, and he sort of stands there idly. He has a weapon planted in the ground. It appears to be an axe, and he is looking the opposite direction from you.
And he is not aware of our approach?
If he is, he doesn't give any indication. Not right now.
What do you think?
Peculiar.
Indeed, it's
Undoubtedly.
peculiar.
I will not skulk about. Let us see what this one knows or wishes.
Aye.
Indeed. We wish him no harm at the moment, and as long as he lets us pass in peace, we shall leave him be in peace.
Or maybe he'll leave us in pieces.
If the gods wish it. And she kind of steps forward and raises her voice. Oh there! Stranger in the dark. What do you do standing gazing into the abyss? Turn now and face us. As travelers on a road.
And you hear a bit of crackling and just creaking as you kind of see the shoulders pull back on the armor, and the axe comes up. Hold on one moment. The axe sort of comes up, not as if to strike me, he's a fair bit away from me, but it does begin to slowly turn around, and you see white, clear eyes behind the helm. And looking upon the figure, the skin, you thought maybe it was the way the shadow hit the body, maybe that was what was making the skin look the way it did. But now with the light clearly exposed on this figure, the skin is very gray and cracked. It looks very dry. The helm itself is in disrepair. And this figure looks at you without any kind of emotion in its eyes whatsoever, but it picks the axe up and slowly starts to walk towards you.
Does the way it picks its axe up, is it like the body language is like just a woodcutter picking his axe up and walking to you, or is it more like intentful, as in
You've been in enough battles to know that this does not look like he's just going to offer you an axe to cut a tree down. He's gripping it in two hands. And it is a combat grip for a great axe, and the great axe itself looks very marred, and you can even see a bit of dried blood on the blade of it, as weathered as the blade is. But it's not moving. He's not moving quickly, but he is moving towards you, and his grip is secure on that axe.
Ah, Wolfgar. Looks like you don't have time to show us how your boasting is. Let's see how your sword is.
so be it. You wish to mean to battle us.
It is
We know
mindless.
that it was your wish.
It is mindless. Let us dispose of it and return it to the ground where it belongs.
Everybody's
Sylvie-
drawn.
Yeah, Sylvie kind of steps back and her spear kind of spins in her hand with the point forward. She kind of raises it over her head to throw it.
Hrothgar, has his sword and shield out in battle formation. He, has both his arms wide open, and then he basically brings the hilt of the sword and the shield together to form a crash. And as he keeps stepping forward towards this Draugr, he keeps doing that. It's like a crash, and he walks forward and crash, slamming the sword and the shield together.
So Sylvie, you can make a int roll, and Hrothgar, you can make an apt roll. Very close. That is good enough. So Hrothgar, as you're advancing, you notice something shift off to the side in the trees at the corner of your eye. And again, you're in battle mode. That's why I had you do apt. You're familiar with this. You know, you're in a frame of mind. You see some of the bark strip away and perhaps become a bit humanoid from the wood.
Watch out! The wood seems to be alive.
Alright, so we're gonna be in combat in earnest now. Let me make sure I get the good battle music here. I gotta remember how I had the battle music set up. This will do. So there is going to be one, so it's same thing for any kind of system-like game. You guys are going to go first usually, but there is going to be one surprise round. I gave 2 opportunities. Unfortunately, you guys missed it. Gris and a whisper, and then Sylvie and her attempt. But there was a third opponent who is going to get to go. From behind you, Gris and Sylvie, you hear a crackling and a creaking of the wood, and the earth shifts, and this massive figure bursts out of the ground, probably 10 feet tall, covered in vines and mud, and it's gonna swing at Gris.
By the gods.
And I gotta bring up these because some of these guys can do some interesting things. Yes. Alright. So use a luck point on this attack, and there will be an effect. So it's going to be reflex versus reflex. Ooh. So we gotta set the standard now. Do we want ties to go to players, or do we want ties to go to attackers or defenders?
Just roll D2. 1 is players, 2 is defenders.
Defenders. Oh, you mean 1's attackers, 2's defenders? Okay. So tie to the defender, and that's how this is going to be the way it is for the rest of the campaign going forward. So ties to defenders for this. So that's good for you. You see these vines come off of its back, and they attempt to wrap up around your legs. But you're able to nimbly dodge out of the way, however you'd like to do that, or beat the vines back, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, he's gonna see the vines coming and just kind of step over, because as right now he has no visible weapon drawn, but it is drawn. It's just he doesn't keep it visible, so he just kind of steps out the way. Must be faster than that.
Alright, now it would be your guys' turn in earnest because you're aware of these other threats.
Alright, I'll just go ahead and go since I'll be responding. And in one quick motion, Gris is going to swing his sword in an upward motion towards the viney beast.
Alright.
And that'd be my strength versus your reflex, right?
Reflex versus reflex.
Gotcha, I gotta see if it hits.
Ooh. As you go forward to swing, this back steps and doesn't quite land.
I'll get you the next time.
Alright, Sylvie or Hrothgar, who's going next?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, whatever. So Sylvie kind of spins to look at this tree-like creature, and takes a step back and sees Gris engage it. Says, "For the gods!" And she, instead of actually attacking the tree creature, she turns, spins, and almost without looking, flings her spear at the Drogar.
Alright. Reflex. Wow, that guy's rolled. It's disgusting. Alright, you do hit. Gotta test strength versus AF. That's 1. So you fling your spear, flies true and sticks in his chest. Would have killed a regular mortal man, but it embeds itself, it sticks in his chest, gleaming. He still lumbers forward towards you.
She draws her sword and swings it by her side, preparing to charge.
Hrothgar.
I'm just making a note of this. Reflex to hit, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then it's after that strength for damage.
Yep. So it's reflex versus now, unless there are some instances, depending on methods of attack, like there's going to be somebody who is a rune smith type person who would use willpower and stuff like that, or intelligence in order to know the runes to attack. But for any kind of for your basic attacks like these, most of the time it's gonna be reflex versus reflex, unless you make an argument why it shouldn't be. Like if you're gonna wrestle somebody, maybe you're just trying to brute strength it or something like that. So
Sure. Okay. Hrothgar, seeing that Sylvie has attacked the Draugr, he moves towards this beast that walked out of the trees, and he moves forward and engages. Eesh.
Oh my god.
Too much mead.
that was pretty
Wow.
bad.
That was
As
pretty
Hrothgar-
bad too, but Jesus.
As Hrothgar moves forward to engage with the Bog Walker, the words of Gris is kind of ringing in his ears to see if he'll meet or exceed the boasts that Hrothgar made the previous night. And as he swings his sword wide, he's a little off balance, not concentrating on the task in front of him.
And this thing, as it comes out of the wood, you're just a bit off balance, a bit short. Doesn't have to move too far to avoid. Sorry for any dog noises, but I'm gonna keep. We're gonna push through it. Over to their turn at that point, I believe. And that vine creature will get to go again because that was his surprise round. So he'll go with his group as well. The branch one, this guy. So we're going to go from left to right. Bog Walker. Let's see. Alright, he's going to spend a luck point. And everybody needs to make a difficulty 12 int check. Because he's just disappeared in front of you, Hrothgar.
The difficulty 12 in check?
If you crit, I'll let you roll another d6 to see if you can explode. Or if you want to luck die it, you can do that as well.
Oh, Hrothgar does not have enough int to even meet that.
Oh, you can luck die it. Oh, so close, Chris.
That's how my rolling's gonna be going tonight.
Yeah, if you roll a 6 on a d6, Roth, I'll give you an explosion.
Oh, okay. Then
See what happens.
There we go.
'Cause, I mean, if you double 6 it, then I'll give it to you. Okay.
Nah.
So after you swing at it, as the air courses by, it's no longer in front of you. You have no idea where this is gone. And nor does anyone else that was aware of it. Alright, Droger. He's gonna move in to engage with Sylvie. I'm gonna say Droger pretty slow, so I can say he can get up to you. So he's getting close, he's gonna engage with you next time. This is really just him. He sort of moves quicker than he had been. It's sort of a bit of a trot, but still slow. He still definitely moves like a dead man. But he's getting close, and next turn he will be able to swing on you. And then the branch creature. No vines this time. You see it wind up and rear back with its arm, and it just throws a mighty punch at you, Gris.
That's it. Show me your anger.
How do you avoid this mighty blow?
It's he sees it coming. He knows this. The vines were something sneaky he tried, and hopefully he gets angry enough to keep coming to blows with them, and sees the fist coming and just steps aside.
All right. And then it would be back to you guys.
All right.
Good, Chris.
All right. As Gris steps aside, he's gonna go ahead and try hitting the arm of the beast with his sword.
Let's do it. Hey, there it is. Or your strength. Oh man.
The muddy upswing. He swings up and hits the arm.
And you actually cleave that arm off, and just mud and vines and even worms and bugs go flying all over the ground. After you sever this thing's arm, it recoils it's in pain. Whoever is next.
Okay. So I'm gonna roll first, and I'll describe it after.
Sure.
Just she's attacking with her sword. But I have a specific thing I want to do if it works.
Alright.
Probably not going to.
Oh my god, that guy rolled fat. As you're moving to attack this drover, it just for a moment moves with this unnatural speed, as though combat instinct returns to it for a moment. And it just very agilely dodges your strike.
Yeah, she
Rough guard.
swings and
Oh, go ahead.
Like, no, go ahead. It's fine. Just go on.
No, you can go ahead and describe it.
No,
I realize
it just moves out of the way, and she kind of pirouettes back to face it again as she misses and almost turns her back to it and frowns, not expecting it to move as quickly as it did.
All right, Rothgar.
Hrothgar bellows loudly. Fiend! Fight where I can see you! Don't play in the shadows! And seeing that the bog creature has disappeared, he moves to attack the Draugr. And reflex.
Add a bonus die to reflex because you're surrounding.
Okay, so I'll add a luck die then.
Yeah, it's that luck die, but don't count it against yourself.
Okay.
I guess technically he can beat that, but he won't. Strength.
Yes.
Oh man.
As Hrothgar realizes that the bog creature has disappeared, after he kind of curses it and runs towards Draugr, he again swings hard. He feels his swing this time is true, but the Draugr seems to have stepped out of the way just in time. Again, that unnatural speed.
Oh no, you hit him. But you cleave into this. You give him a pretty good cut across his shoulder. Yeah, you passed the reflex, so you hit him. You did damage, but you give him a good slice across the shoulder. Again, you've seen this blow carry through, another man and just completely sever an arm. But this gets embedded a bit as you jerk the sword out. However, it was quite stuck in his flesh. And he looks over his shoulder, and looks at you angrily. I believe that's everybody for players, so it's going to go, and he'll follow up with that, and being that you backstabbed him essentially, he's going to turn and with a side swing attempt to smash into you with his axe. Ooh. Roll your athletics.
Roll my athletics. Ooh.
It's just 1 point of damage, so he returns the favor, and maybe you do something to lessen the blow. It's not quite terrible, but he does strike you, so...
Oh, it's not a wound?
Oh, it is a wound, yeah.
Okay.
You lessen the impact, because he was going for the kill.
So yeah, as he turns around with all that hatred in those dead eyes, Rothgar sees the intent and basically just in time brings up the heavy shield to kind of reduce the blow, but still kind of the blow is strong enough to kind of shake his bones, and Rothgar a mighty foe indeed. Well, you won't stay up very long.
Alright, and then Gris, you're going to, let's see, how am I going to do this? You're being attacked. You will see after the attack where it is, but you're being surprise attacked right now. So it's going to be an extra die against you. It's going to be against your, we'll say, reflexes.
All right.
Because it is still physical. He is going to get an extra die. That 12 was your reflex roll?
Yeah.
He beat you, so go ahead and roll your you're gonna roll willpower on this one, actually. This is a bit of a strange one. Oh man, that could be bad. Oh my god.
Oh.
That's not good.
Oh wow.
That's 3 wounds, I think. So, out from behind the trees, this creature that escaped Rothgar reappears, and this horrific mist comes from what you can only assume is its mouth and jets over towards you. The mist itself is extremely cold against the skin to touch, just chillingly, bone chilling. But on top of that, your mind begins to race with horrific memories, perhaps battles long since past of horrible things you've seen, or things that will be but have not been yet. You're not sure. Your mind runs together with horrors, and it's bad enough that you feel warm liquid run from your ears as you take a brutal hit from this thing and whatever this mist is coming from its mouth.
What is that?
And it's doing the whole sort of peeking out from behind the trees at you as it does it. It's very nonchalant. And then the last one, the Vine Beast, is going to try to smash you as well. Reflex versus reflex. It's going to try to punch you once more.
Yeah, I'm going to be losing the luck die in this one.
Alright. It's a good choice. It was a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're reeling in pain, and tell me how you dodge this, because it's coming at you full force with like a double overhead, like tomahawk swing with both hands. Or I guess it's only got one hand, so it's trying to pound your skull in with the hand that it has left.
As he's wincing in pain and almost brought to his knees, he looks up at the last second, hears the rustling, and sees the giant swinging down on him, and he does a little roll out the way.
And it misses, and it would be back to you guys.
So is this bog walker any close to me, or would it take me?
Oh, he's not that far. He had to reveal himself to attack, so he's not far. You might be able to cover that distance.
Because that's what I'm gonna do. Because yeah, no, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, so he's standing there because he's still trying to shoot the mist at you. Like you basically just took a full force hit of it, and that's what it did to you. So you can close the distance and attempt to attack him.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna get up from the roll, and I'm gonna stare at the bog walker with just this evilest, steely gaze ever, and just start walking towards him. And I'm gonna get up to a fast trot so I can get some momentum behind my swing.
All right, reflex versus reflex.
Son of a bitch.
Oh.
Damn it.
So it seems a bit slow to react, but as you're bringing your sword out, it just barely gets out of the way. You think maybe you nick a bit of its arm, but it's nothing substantial. And it just sort of holds its hands up like trying to back away. It doesn't seem to have it to be armed in any way other than what's it shooting at you. It's like backing away from you with its hands up. Sylvie.
Alright, I'm gonna swing on this thing real quick.
Alright, he actually cannot even dodge that, so go ahead.
Okay. Ah.
Chipping away at it.
So Sylvie, kind of as it's not facing her, she kind of reaches around and grabs her spear that is lodged in the creature's chest and pulls it. And as she pulls it, it kind of turns the Draugr towards her. And as it kind of is turning, she comes down with her sword on the side of the creature's neck, slicing through it, but doesn't take the head off. And immediately she raises her right foot, kicks it in the chest, and pulls back her spear, now with her spear in her left hand and her sword in her right. And she says to Hrothgar, "Help Gris!" As she had seen what had happened out of the corner of her eye.
Well done, Hrothgar.
Hrothgar nods and he looks up and he says, "There you are, hiding in the shadows. Well, not anymore." And Hrothgar charges full speed.
Bonus reflex die for 2 people engaging it at once.
Oh, man.
Oh, you got him.
Yes.
Strength versus athletics.
Go. Come
Is your reflexes normally 2?
on. My reflex.
It says 3, but it rolled 4.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm gonna use a luck die for this.
Alright.
Ooh.
Oh, go ahead and describe it. That's complete fuckage.
Nice.
So as Hrothgar is charging up to attack this bog walker, he uses his shield kind of in front of him to hide the attack. And at the last moment, he whips the shield away, and you see this large great sword coming right at the central mass of the bog walker, and he basically spikes him into the tree behind, and he says, "Try and escape from this."
And he sort of just gets torn from your attack, and basically it starts to crack, and then this shatters and falls apart, and all this dark mist goes flying into the air. Doesn't affect you in any way, but does go and adds itself to the fog. But this thing is quite dead.
Good job, Hrothgar. As Gris says, he's leaning on his sword. Severe pain.
right. Let's see what the vine creature wants to do. He's got it out for you.
Man, it's because I cut off his arm.
Yeah. So as you're leaning against your sword against this, by this tree that this bog walker died on, you hear just a heavy stomping of feet, and your old friend is sprinting at you full speed with one good arm he has left, and is again going to try to smash you with it. Looks like he's going for a backhand, if you can read into it.
Could Rothgar roll something to stand in the way and take the hit?
Yeah. So I would say that you'd have to take the hit, actually take it, but you could roll with an athletics against his strength.
Okay.
All right, we'll do that. Only 1 point of damage. So yeah, you describe how this looks then.
As Rothgar sees the mud creatures charging towards Gris, he's like, "Watch out, Gris! It means to harm you." And then with his shield, he ever so gently kind of nudges, but really it's like a hard shove Gris to the side, basically kind of standing in front in Gris's space entirely as the attack comes full front on Rothgar's chest.
Seeing that, Gris is gonna immediately swing, as he's caught off balance, but got some momentum and like a backswing going with him.
Whenever it gets back to you.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, you go first whenever it comes back around. And then the Droger on Sylvie. I think you can beat it.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, it swings its axe, and she just basically sidesteps and hits the half of the axe with her spear and just looks at the creature with contempt as the axe hits the ground hard, kind of stoops over the creature. And then can I just follow up real quick with a reflex?
Yeah, it's fine.
Gosh.
Oh, God.
Good enough.
Good enough. Nice.
Describe it. Not even
kill
a need. Oh yeah, not even a need for reflex.
So as it's stooped over, she just comes with her other hand with the sword and just chops off its head, and the Droger's head falls to the ground, and then it's like a delay, and then all of a sudden the thing falls to its knees, and then the chest hits the ground on top of the head where the head had fallen earlier.
Oh shit! And then it just crumbles at that point. It's like dust, and it just gets blown away by some light wind. And Gris.
Alright, as Gris gets shoved from Rogar, and Rogar takes his blow, as he's stumbling, gonna immediately just take a haphazard swing at the leg of the vine monster.
Alright. You are technically both engaging it, so give yourself a bonus for reflex. He's tough.
That's how this baby goes tonight.
So as you're swinging towards the leg, it just lifts the leg up, unnaturally so. Just kind of almost gets sucked into the body of the creature, the torso, and then comes back down. And then Rothgar.
And Rothgar just roll first to see how that goes, and based on the...
Okay.
Oh God.
Just to give yourself a bonus, make sure you roll an extra d6, because you're both engaging it.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. You got a hero. So he worked for that. Well, you're in front of him, Rothgar, so he's gonna try to swing on you again. Yeah. So you can roll your reflex to avoid it.
Yeah, on that. Oh,
Yep, you did. It tries to actually headbutt you, but it's sort of clumsily you're going around, and it actually runs into a tree behind you and shakes it. Whichever one of you up there wants to go.
Sylvie can go.
You sure? You guys can go. You're engaged.
Yeah,
Because
you
I'm gonna
guys
run
are
at it.
engaged with it, and then so
Okay.
if you guys fuck this up again, so we can. Go ahead.
Rothgar screams.
Chris, together. Let us fell this beast this day, for it shall not harm us anymore.
Shit. Okay. Die. Luck doesn't regenerate, correct, for humans?
It does.
It does. It does.
Okay.
You get 1 point back between scenes.
Okay. So then here's one more. Actually, that should be 5d6.
Yep. So roll another d6 for me.
Are you?
Oh, you got him.
Yeah.
Okay, no need to
Nice.
roll strength unless you want to, because he's done so. So how's this look?
So, Rothgar has had quite enough of this battle where he seems to be missing just by a few inches or by a few seconds, and he's finally he drops his shield. With both hands, he raises his sword, and given the fact that the beast charged past him and hit a tree, he turns around and brings the sword on its back, and then basically splits the thing in half with his great sword. And as he does so, he kind of gives out a mighty bellow, like, "Oh!"
And as your bellow reverberates through the wood, this thing falls. Its upper half falls into the ground, and a spray of insects and worms and mud just goes flying all over as you do this. And this thing, it crawls on its one arm for a moment before it just stops moving, and its legs remain quite firmly planted where the tree is next to, as though they were two mud stumps. And that is it for combat at this
Go
time.
back to the foul swamp you came from, beast. You shall not best us this day.
Sylvie sheathes her sword and walks with the spear as a walking stick again and moves towards Grist and Rothgar. Are you injured?
I don't know what he did to me, but I feel drained.
Well, maybe some mead might help you restore some of that vitality.
Yes. At the very least, that make me feel a little better.
Gris pulls out a tube with white rocks inside of it.
Sylvie, I have no poultice. Can you continue, or do you need to return?
We shall continue.
Just out of character, how does wounds heal? The night's rest, or?
So it would be between scenes. They would heal, unless you go down. And when you go down, it really wounds have, because I'm assuming you're all very tough individuals who will shirk off most wounds, and most wounds received in combat, unless they're ones that knock you down, are not serious. What I'm considering. So you'll recover between scenes, full hit point amount. If you go down, you will have to roll for bleed outs. You get 3 tries and you're dead if you fail.
Okay.
So.
And then if you go down and then say the fight ends and then you're back up again, does it again go back to full wounds, or is there a penalty?
Right now, we're gonna say full wounds. I may adjust it in the future to make it to where you suffer like a lingering thing where you have a lesser wound threshold. So if you have 4 normally, you'd have 3 for the rest of the session.
Okay. Sounds good.
But I didn't implement that prior, so we might implement that for the next one. I'll review it and see.
Okay.
So for all intents and purposes, go ahead and bump everything back up as far as wounds go. Gris, you don't get to replenish any luck for reasons you know of, and then Rothgar, you get 1 luck back. So go ahead and take a few moments to RP here, because I'm going to take a quick bio.
Yeah. Sylvie.
Or if you need to take a break, go ahead too.
Sylvie looks at Gris and puts a hand on his shoulder. And that was a strange creature. These are strange woods. And she kind of brushes your hair back and like takes her finger and like collects some of the blood on it and looks at it that had been oozing out of your ears. She kind of shows you it, like puts it in front of her face.
I've been in worse situations. However, if one of those things comes across us again, I will kill it first.
She looks at
Wise
Rothgar.
choice. It chooses to hide like a coward in battle. That is not the honorable way to fight. One must face one's enemy head on. These are strange woods indeed.
How could anything resist you head on, Rothgar?
Lady Sylvie, you're too kind with your words. But I'm glad we are all fine. It was indeed a good fight. I am proud to be your companion on this journey.
I'm sure thanks to you, Rothgar. That's why I'm still standing. Thanks for that.
Mention not. Those in my company I always wish to protect. For that is the honorable thing to do.
It's much appreciated.
So tell us, Sylvie, since you have the ability to fly, how much of this land have you seen?
Very, very scarce, I'm afraid. As I said, the trees, they are thick with branches and leaves. It is difficult to see within. That is why I was here. To see what there was. And then the smoke called. And then I saw a small clearing and I landed. Alas, she looks up and I'm assuming the canopy of trees blots out the sun.
Yeah, that and the fog as well.
Yeah. And she kind of just shrugs.
This is a thick mist.
Indeed, does remind me of the sea. Well, if the gods smile upon us and we complete this task, maybe you will join me on some sea-based adventures where I can show you the jewels, the riches the sea holds.
She smiles.
It's unparalleled in its beauty.
Perhaps. Come. Let us go and not linger.
I'd agree.
And she begins to walk.
All right. So you proceed through the woods, and you feel as though there are always eyes upon you, and maybe there are a few minor encounters, but nothing quite as difficult as the one you just went through. Foes are easily dispatched. It is mostly the same as the Draugr that you encountered, just scattered small groups of them, easily dispatched by your combined arms. After a few days of travel, uneasy nights, you arrive at a interesting sight. And I believe I have a handout for this. The structure sits in the woods, foreboding construct of ancient design. The runes appear to be made of gold and silver. They're etched all along the hold and patterns long lost to time. Long crumbled remains indicate that other structures once surrounded this place, but have long since failed the test of time. That this labor remains is testament to craftsmanship and purpose. And a lot of this is stonework, which is, it's not very common. You know, there's the occasional hold that is made of stone, but a lot of things are done with wood, as wood is more plentiful and also easy to replace. Stone more valuable for other things. The occasional wall, or again, the occasional hold uses stone, but this is very intricate, uses many different metals and stones, and other than a few bits and pieces of disrepair, for the most part, it is remarkably intact, though covered in moss and grass and things like that. You may RP about this discovery.
This seems an ancient place. Place with a past, though its past is unclear at the moment. What great craftsmanship on these stones.
Strange. And she kneels down and brushes her hand against one of the stones. Ancient, but preserved.
At least it looks better in these woods.
That is true, and preserved indeed. Almost like some magics is keeping it intact, wouldn't you say, Lady Sylvie and Gris?
I agree. Makes me again think that we should not give the power that this is inside us to that mortal.
Did you say to that mortal?
I
Looks at him sidelong.
had a vision in my dream, spoken to by the divine. Yeah, they said the old man means well, but the power is not meant for a mortal.
And who would you give this orb up to?
That I do not know. I think maybe we should destroy it.
Destroy it?
Aye.
Well. Before we think of destroying it, we must find it first. But
That
I
is
must
true.
say that though this structure seems ancient, to me it seems unnatural to the surroundings. There is something off about this structure, something, how does one say, an affront to the gods. Everything that is built must perish. Everything that perishes will be rebuilt. That's the law of nature. This seems to just defy it. Defiance is not good in these times. Come, let us search this place. Maybe there's a way to destroy this,
Sylvie,
that which has stood time.
yeah, Sylvie kind of steps forward and puts a hand on your shoulder. Rothgar, this is beyond us currently. It is not why we have come. Let us not be tricked into quests that will take us from our goal. Let us leave this place well alone and go on to find this orb. Else we be drawn into a trap, a web of lies that will snatch us up.
But something compels me to destroy it, something about the structure that desires me to destroy it. My time on the sea has shown me one thing: nothing stands forever. If this has stood forever, that maybe there's something evil about this place, wouldn't you say, Sylvie?
Perhaps. But...
Or,
And she looks at Gris.
maybe it was built by the gods.
Everything is built by the gods. One way or another.
This is true.
Hold on. Let me check something. The map Ingvar gave us. And Hrothgar pulls out the map and... Well, don't you believe it? Look, Sylvie. Look, Chris. Seems we have arrived at our destination. Do you think maybe the orb is keeping this place the way it is? Ingvar did say something about the power of life for restoring it, something of that sort.
Perhaps.
Yes, I feel these woods were meant to protect it.
Well, I say, let us proceed in and find the orb. Once we find it and see for what it is with our own eyes, let us then hold council. Hold council and decide the fate of the orb, and the fate that we must then walk through.
Sylvie nods slowly, but then says, Hrothgar, I suggest we mind our way. I understand that you feel this place unnatural. Aye, it is unnatural, clearly. But be wise when we go inside. Do not befoul the place without thought. Who knows what consequence will follow such actions? Do not be rash in your actions, great warrior.
As you wish, Lady Sylvie. I shall hold my actions until we have discovered this place and its true intent. And then we shall hold council on that as well, as to what should be this place's fate, in addition to the orb. Does that please you, Lady Sylvie?
It pleases me. I am glad you are bending to wisdom.
Very well then. Your words do have wisdom.
Let us
They do.
tread carefully.
Then may I suggest that I walk behind you? My footsteps are heavy, and though I may try to mask them and be careful where I place them, I am not the most lightest of one on one's feet.
I have a feeling that anything inside already knows we're here. I think it's all connected.
Sylvie...
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead. No, good.
Before we proceed in, what could I roll to kind of get an idea of like the structure of this place, right? Like from a
from a navigation point of view, like if there are multiple levels, if there are many multiple doorways or a single doorway, the best way to kind of engage with this, like, engage in the sense like enter it, but with caution.
Well, there is only one entrance, so I'll go ahead and answer that for you. Yeah, there's only one way in, but I can go ahead and show you the map as you guys are going in here. Okay, now let's see if this is going to be kind to me or not. So I tried to pull a Darren. I know that's the hot ticket now. So we'll see what happens. So, do we just see over here? Do we see anything else?
I see everything.
Oh Christ!
Okay.
Okay.
Turn on dynamic lighting.
Yeah, I thought I had, but let's see. Give me the good stuff.
There you go. Perfect.
Now I gotta make sure everybody has
sight.
Sight, yeah, and then provide distance to that sight.
Sight. I mean, I'm not. It's lit. I just need to make sure that dynamic stuff's enforced. Good. Okay.
To me.
So. Any issues?
Not for me. I just don't see the other tokens.
Yeah, I'm working to get everybody in.
Yep. Yeah, I see everything. Looks good to me.
Okay. Okay. Anybody with any issues of sight right now?
Negative.
I must say, Ghost. Some GMs use this thing called flicker, but I'm so glad you're not using it. It's just so much better to see the map.
Yeah. I feel like there's a subtle dig thrown in.
This is a very small.
I mean, somebody doesn't know how to use APIs, so I think that's what it is.
And that's where the dig was sent. All right. All I'm doing is making sure that the tokens are updated so that you guys will have sight from now on, and no issues there. Okay. So this is what you see as you enter. As you go into this, and there's only one entrance down. It's a set of stairs that go down. Torches seem to flicker on as you come into this, what appears to be sort of a hub. There's several doors and archways, paths that are dark, but you cannot see down. You see where they are, but you cannot see down at this point. And other than the way you came in, there are 3 other paths here. What you see around is pretty ornate. The tiles on the floor they appear hand carved, each set at one point set delicately and symmetrically, but over time it has become worn down. There are some statues and busts that are unfamiliar to you, but they appear to be of some import from their positioning in the rooms. And of course, again, this torchlight seems to emanate from these sconces that are sitting here. Unsure of how long these have been burning, or if there is even a source to be recognized. But there is well lit down here, perhaps even more well lit than the woods. And you may proceed as you wish.
Sylvie kneels and brushes her hand over one of the carvings, delicately looking. Delicately touching the floor and the patterns on the floor, and stands up and Reserved indeed.
Is there any markings, like, do we kind of get an idea of maybe this place was kind of built in honor of some god or some entity?
What you're looking at, let's see. It's not, if it's dedicated to a god, it's not any god you recognize. From what because you guys would all be familiar with Norisican burial, ancient burial sites, things like that. Because there are some that are in the more civilized portions of the land.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing quite as intricate as this, but it sort of follows the same layout. A lot of it is to venerate either the people that lived within the settlement as they pass on and generations continue. Each hold has something like this, though they typically aren't as ornate. They have portions of it that are for the lessers, the commoners, and then they have the sort of the jarl and his family. And good whisper, Chris. We'll ignore that. No, he fucked that up intentionally.
I stabbed Gris.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So, and then the Jarl's family, and then there's also a portion of it that is actually handled. These tombs are never truly sealed unless the hold just picks up and leaves most of the time. So there are portions of it that are day-to-day workers who maintain the upkeep of it, because again, this is very important to committing one's souls to the afterlife and making sure their flesh and bone is entombed properly. It's a good sign of respect for their lives. So as far as gods, this appears there's no particular god being venerated here. It is just, for all intents and purposes, a very, very ornate burial tomb building.
And these are actually steps going down?
Yeah, so they're both stairways going down.
Okay.
And then there's a third one up here you can probably see just on the edge of your vision.
Okay. And I'm assuming this is a door?
Yes. Well, it's more of an archway. Is it
I think
blocked?
this
Can you not see past that?
No, you can see.
Okay.
I think these are the door.
Yeah, there's two gates, and then.
Okay, and so we can basically pass through this archway then.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I cannot make much of this place. Do either of you make any sense of it?
A crypt of some sort, I think.
More like a gateway.
Well, both sound ominous. Ominous.
Something like ominous.
Yes.
Sibby walks past Rothgar and she goes to these stairs. She kind of cranes her head forward and, like, trying to listen below. We seek water. Perhaps we can hear it. And she's trying to listen to see if she hears any, like, drops of water, things like that.
No drops of water, but you do hear what appears to be a hammer banging.
Oh.
She looks back to the others. Quite strange. A hammer. Upon steel, perhaps. A forge seems unlikely.
this is something of the gods. Nothing can be ruled out.
True. Do we descend?
Well, I, for one, am interested in descending and figuring out what that noise is. Maybe they have answers for us.
Perhaps.
Or maybe they just want to kill us.
More likely. Do not disturb the dead. And
Yes.
she turns and descends.
Well, indeed that is true. Let us not descend right now, if possible, and explore what else this place has to offer. If there is nothing above the ground, then maybe there might be something below the ground. If there is the dead resting there, then I say we let them rest for a little while longer. Wouldn't you agree?
Fair enough. She stops and turns. Show us the way then, Rothgar.
Indeed. He walks up to the archway. Something like an inspect or look closely to see if there is any traps, etc. Part of Rothgar believes that if something of value or of veneration is kept here, then it's not meant for people to just kind of mosey in.
Fair enough. Roll me an aptitude, since you're drawing. Sounds like you're drawing on some previous experience here.
Yeah.
You and your crypt rating.
And dwell in many dungeons, have we?
Just barely good enough. So no, you inspect this archway and you look it up and down, and the bust at the top maybe gives you pause for a moment, but it checks out. So no traps on the archway. You do hear past the archway very, very faintly, and it's only because your ears are attuned to the sound, a bit of a swirling of liquid.
Well, maybe I think I found the way. Were you not searching for the sound of water or liquid, Lady Sylvie?
Yes. We are supposed to gather water.
Well, I think I hear it this way. Let me lead. If something were to attack us, I can take the brunt for it initially. And Hrothgar walks through the arch towards the sound of water.
Right, and the water is coming from down here.
Well, it looks like we might be waking up the dead soon.
My experience, if something is found so easily, it's never good. But let's go take a peek.
Indeed. Be at the ready.
Sylvie will grab a torch, finds the nearest torch, and takes it.
Sure. Alright, I'm gonna move you guys over here as you descend. So you go down into this strangely shaped chamber. As you enter, you notice a few things with the room. There are two statues opposite each corner. Both of them point swords straight up in the air. Their faces are weathered by time. You're not sure who these may have been representing. Both of their builds are different, so you believe they were unique statues at one point, but as far as the faces go, it's hard to tell. There are upright caskets affixed to the wall on either end here that are sealed shut. And as you might see on the far end of the room, there is a small circular well, it appears. The room is also well lit, torches in each corner burn brightly and do not waver.
So
Well, is this what you think we are looking for?
Again, it's too easy to find something so powerful. I fear if this is it, then something else awaits us. I also fear that this may be a trap.
What do you suggest we do, Chris?
Well, we know it's here. If this is the one, maybe we should go look in the other stairwells.
you are
I see.
suggesting we leave this place without investigating further.
I just only feel that this is a trap.
Perhaps it is. If it is, we would defeat it. Do not.
Wait, Lady Sylvie. Maybe there is some wisdom in Chris's words. Look around you. There is no escape from this place. If something were to come down those stairs, we would be trapped. And would have to fight our way out without no retreat. I do not believe that's a good way to fight. We must keep some options. Would you not say that?
There's a few things wrong with fighting in a dungeon like this. And number one being is that you're fighting in a dungeon like this.
She looks at Gris and then Rothgar. If you wish to double back, then let us go. Be wary, though. Do not disturb the dead. Else I fear we might have many foes. Let us give them the respect they deserve.
Your words
Yes.
ring wise, Lady Sylvie. But what if our actions will inevitably disturb the dead? Were we to get the orb out from this place, maybe that would disturb the dead as well.
Perhaps. If so, then we do what we must.
Indeed. Let us investigate the other hollows, see what lies in there. If there is something that wishes us harm, then we take the fight to it, rather than have our backs turned to it in this place, would you not say?
Very well.
Lead on, Chris.
Alright, so you guys are heading back up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go ahead and move you back. Alright, so you come back up.
What do you think? Left or right?
Towards
See.
the hammer?
Indeed,
Yes.
towards the hammer. And the hammer was from...
Right
Yeah,
there.
correct?
Yep.
Yep.
down into the abyss we go.
Sylvie brings her torch forth and walks behind Gris.
Rothgar follows last.
All right, let me go ahead and just bringing people to new places. So you all come down this staircase, and you see a peculiar sight. You see what appears to be two Droger working on some sort of forge, working on blades, pounding hammers on a blacksmith anvil. There's a rather large Droger behind them. They don't immediately see you. He's kind of looking towards these two are kind of looking towards the flame, and this one's scrounging around for something on the floor. So everybody, I guess reflex would tell about stealth, so you can all roll reflex at 12 to see if you're able to approach stealthily without immediately alerting them to your presence. That's a pass.
Can I get some vision?
Oh, you don't have vision?
Oh, never mind. There it is.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just
Yep.
Ghost, if you want to
Yeah.
shifting and clicking, draw us all over to the place you need us to be.
Yeah, I got it here.
Yeah, just had to zoom out a little bit.
Oh, so close. So as you guys are all coming down, surprisingly, Rothgar does not give everyone away. Rather light on his feet here, with the hammer in place. So it's silly, but Gris, unfortunately, as you're coming down, you sort of slip on a rock and stumble, and your weapon bangs against the wall, and they all freeze from it, stop, and look over. The two in front here do nothing. They kind of stand there and they look back to the one behind them, and he pushes his way past and looks at the three of you and Dorve su grosteta credanios. He just kind of looks expectantly, and anyone who wants to can try to roll an int 12 to see if they can understand what he's saying.
Not gonna happen.
Yep. Close, but no cigar.
Because this interests me, I will make it an int 9, and I want to see how this plays out.
Ah, hell.
So, Gris, I'm gonna go ahead. So you can sort of understand what you recognize as the Old Tongue, and this is ancient Norsican language, many years ago. So let me go ahead. We're gonna do some whisper games. And just to sort of give a general sense of what's going on, that no weapons are being raised at this time, though they do appear as tense as they can for dead men.
Alright, I'll just remember if I start going open doors to decompress everything, something's wrong.
Alright. And you may attempt to reply in the Old Tongue as well, and just tell me your meaning in whispers.
Alright.
W/GM.
Wow. Low key shade.
Mm.
Mm. You get that whisper?
Yeah, I'm playing back right now.
Okay.
And I'll use the old tongue.
Old tongue is a little rusty and slow.
Had to dig deep for this one.
It's not been used in a long time. Adventurers these days seem to be using stone emojis.
Olas, these wars.
He's what equates to this kind of I guess a laugh. Gris, dormu, vos ergas gedar, fel no hiska diret gatua.
Sylvie looks at Gris and she says, "What is he saying?"
We are in the hollow tombs of Gerald Ergosel.
And
We are in the what?
The tombs of Jarl Ergosel. It's a little rusty. It's a hard language. I am not even sure how I even know it.
Well, do you think they will allow us to take the water we seek?
I don't know. I have to ask.
And for the interest of time, you can just say it in the old tongue and translate. We can do it verbally.
Or you guys could just jump to VC2 to quickly.
Oh yeah, we could do that too.
All right.
But then who's gonna record it? Because I'm not.
Yeah. No.
So we won't need to know. It'd be private. It'd be secret anyway, right?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, the
we'll
actions
be
will speak.
back shortly.
All right.
Alright, VC2.
Well, ladies and gentlemen who are watching it, B&B, your one-stop shop for everything RPG. Come
This
check us out. We're on YouTube, Discord. We play many games. The last time we checked, I think we played 36 different systems. We have amazing GMs, amazing players. We're all concentrated on playing good RPG and good roleplay. Have some fun while at it. So I ask you, stay a while and listen.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
Indeed. As you can see, we have one guest, a Mr. Bo. He seems to want to join B&B, and he hears it's great. Well, come on in, Bo. I'm sure you're going to have a rollicking good time.
What do you have to do to join B&B?
All you have to do is come check out our videos, and from there you'll get to our Discord. Come on Discord. All new players get immediate chances to join one-shots and mini-campaigns. Play
That
2
sounds
games.
groovy.
It is. And not just that, there is more. Play 2 games in 2 months. That is 2 games every month for the first 2 months. And then you become a Red member. Red member enjoy many a privilege. One such privilege is being able to join full-fledged campaigns.
That
What is
sounds
full-
swell.
It is. And what are the full-fledged campaigns we have run? Well, we have run Hunter the Vigil. We have run or are running The One Ring. We are running Star Trek. We are running, what else? Conan. And in Conan, you're going to find the latest technologies of Roll20 being used, including the coveted flicker, without which no role-playing game is complete.
Flicker sounds amazing.
It is. Your entire screen flickers. It gives you the effect of you're playing in night mode. It gives you the realistic, immersion into the game.
I want to join.
And you can, Mr. Bo. All you have to do is find us on Discord. Come join us. Have fun.
Where do I make my sacrifice and how do I sell my firstborn?
You don't have to. That is the beauty of B&B, Blades and Blasters.
I thought
Ask no
RPGs were the
sacrifice.
devil's work.
It is not. How can it be the devil's work when you're having so much fun?
I heard about it in the 80s.
The 80s? Sir, you must be mistaken. That was 34 years ago. Come now. Join us in the new age of role-playing. You don't have to be next to each other. You could be thousands of miles away and still have amazing company for the evening. And mind you, it is legal because you're not paying for it.
I want to fight stuff.
Well, you're in luck because B&B has stuff you can fight.
I want to role.
You want to roleplay, you say? Well, you're in luck. B&B has roleplay as well. We make our own systems. We hybridize rules as they see fit, all for one single purpose, for the benefit of the players and the GMs playing the system.
I want to read Elvish poetry in Sindarin and Kenya.
Well, you can, and I know a place just like that. It's called B&B.
I want to use Manowar lyrics as speeches.
Indeed, indeed, then you are just the man for us, or the woman. Man of War is for everyone, I would say. Come over to B&B and sing us your lyrics in our role-playing games. We are all-inclusive. We see no color, we see no creed, we see no race. We want everybody to come and join us and play.
That's true. It's a great place to play.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're trying to kill us?
Indeed, they're trying to kill us.
Ghost didn't give me sight to any of the tokens. I can't see anything, just black.
Oh.
After he messaged me on Discord saying that some PvP is afoot, I should log in.
All right, we've sorted it out. So we're gonna do some old voice RP, and then Gris can go ahead and let you know the situation.
You missed the infomercial, but good.
Damn. All right. So as Gris responds last time, we'll just sort of go over old voice just to shoot the shit. Just him to go ahead and. Oh, you need sight. Let me see.
The one side that matters, Sylvie's.
How would I be? I'd be able to give it to Bo.
You
if I
just
give it
gotta
to him.
you just gotta give him control of the token or a character.
Just give me Sylvie sight.
Yeah, you can get some Sylvie sight. Here you go. Feast your eyes on this guest, Bo. All right.
Ooh.
So, Gris and the Droger going back and forth. The Droger's response: Dormugas virka de son rogas kruran monu.
Bola fosa natis malo.
Ka ingvari zadis nor ne masro desva natinan ingvariates ha.
Yes, the mortis egvar nevarus.
Nored sfiratos jofen hafen hitas ron vormutas der.
allows us this force. Go to peace.
Thus, vos. Waves his hand forward and goes to pick up a hammer. Turns his back on you.
It is time to leave this room.
Well, what did you discuss, Grace? That seemed like a long conversation right there.
I'll explain once we leave.
Okay. Well, why don't you lead the way, Grace?
Alright, so... guess we can just go back upstairs, right?
Yep, I will make the switch. Alright, there you are, go ahead.
Alright. He knows Igvar. Igvar knows him. He cares not what happens to the spear, because he welcomes his death. And if we leave it, he welcomes that too, because right now they are working. He says, if we take the sphere, it'll be with bloody hands, and we'll have to fight. However, I asked him about destroying the sphere, and he says it's not hardy, which means it may be able to be destroyed. And a loss. These divine voices I had. One says this is the gateway to the fell. He says it is not. It is a temple containing the sphere. And that meddling with the sphere will... The others that are here will not like it.
Where is the orb?
That I didn't get a chance to ask. He was growing frustrated with our presence.
Did you get a sense of what he was trying to do? Why is he building? What was he building?
Oh.
You guys could see clearly they were working on weapons.
I imagine it's, running into him here. I don't think they're having a plan for a party with a meeting in their long haul. I fear maybe it's for the bad. He is only a pawn. It seems like there's others pulling reins. A big pawn, but if we do not go in that room again, we will not have to fight them.
But you say if we disturb the sphere, we might have to fight others.
Yes. And it would be blood on our hands when we grab the sphere.
We should try to avoid them if we can once we take the sphere.
I'd agree. Destroying the sphere or taking it. I'm thinking that if we take it, they do not get destroyed. But maybe it allows them to be unleashed. And destroying it may kill them all. And let them in their eternal slumber. Either way, I find it weird that he would know Igvar, and Igvar would know him.
That is strange indeed.
Yes, and he asked me if the old man we met knew magic, and I explained him about the burning fire and us being called to the smoke. He didn't seem surprised, so I have no doubt that Igvar has some magical abilities.
Clearly. Did you see the wonders in his cave?
This leaves me then. Maybe we're just being pawns from one god to another god. And one of our actions could be the undoing of a great flood or something.
Well, we know what is down the other two staircases. Shall we just go down this last one and see what is there and get a sense for this place before we decide?
I agree.
Well, one thing I cannot understand, Gris, is how do you know that land?
Yeah, I must have heard it from somewhere. It was weird. It was broken, but I understand a lot of it and enough to piece it together. It's a fairly old language. And it's the language of our ancestors. I must have heard it before. Maybe my mother spoke it when I was yet but a baby. Who knows?
It does not matter. Let us go. Let us see what is down those stairs.
Alright. I will walk. I'll lead the way. I feel like if I'm gonna trip or fall again, I might as well be the first person to take a hit, right?
Well, that, or you might have more friends down there who know your language. Either way, it would be good you speak to them first.
Well, let us hope they're friends.
Well, anyone who didn't attack me, I sometimes consider as a friend. Till they attack me, then they're my enemies.
Let us hope you have few enemies. This place.
That is true. Lead on, Gris.
Alright, follow me close to me with the torch.
Waits for you to step forward.
Alright, someone's going. Just go on stairs.
Alright, I will move you over.
Can you do that shift click?
I will, yeah. So you come down these stairs. There is what appears to perhaps be a mock combat going on between some Droger. Again, a very tall Droger between two others. They're both attacking at the same time, and they're not striking to wound. Strangely enough, even though they're quite dead, it's very practiced and appears to be just going through the motions of combat. But they're a decent bit of distance away. You also see a figure further back, sitting atop a sort of stone chair that's carved from the floor, that is watching the combat commence. And they are in full regalia, though it is faded. It appears very ornate armor as they look on. And they are rather focused on the combat. There's a lot of dips and crevices, so you can attempt to go for reflex again to avoid being seen initially. There will be 12. Oh,
Gris.
Damn it. I have the second highest reflexes here, and yet I'm rolling like I got like a 2.
Love it. So much like last time, Rothgar, not the problem. Gris, this time it's not slipping and falling. It's actually, as your foot goes forward, you kick a brick, that kind of stone brick that kind of clatters across the floor very loudly, and everything reverberates in here, because other than the clanging of swords and the banging of blades against shields, there's not a whole lot of noise. And then that ceases as all of them look at the brick and then trace the path to you.
Wolfgar, you got any more of that mead?
I do.
Can I? Thank you. Yeah, kind of step forward a little bit and speak the old language, explaining that we are here as travelers, and we bring a gift.
All right. Oh man, what is this gonna be?
Something bad, I'm sure.
You're gonna need an aptitude of I'm gonna tell you 12 for this to even go anywhere. So roll an aptitude 12. This is, we'll say this is practiced manners for being in a court.
Yay!
So all of them look to be readying weapons at first, but when you say gift, this one in the back just puts a bony hand up, and they all kind of stop and look back. And it steps down. This whatever this individual is somebody of importance because they're fully regaled in armor and they've got a flowing cape, and they push past. And it looks at you and sizes you up and then holds its hand out to receive the gift.
I'll tell him it's some of the finest meat and hand it to him. Forsra, please, meat.
This is like a water skin or a horn, or how is this sealed up?
The bottle itself, right?
Oh, the glass bottle?
You got a glass bottle?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excellent.
Oh no.
Oh no,
Oh no. So he looks at it for a moment, and then he goes to open it, but then there's a flash of recognition as he looks over the bottle. And he looks at you, he looks at the bottle, and his eyes were a cool blue, very ghostly, ghastly blue. It's more or less a skull with just blue orbs inside of it. But they glow sort of a darker blue. Looks at the bottle and throws it hard against the ground, and it shatters. Meat and glass flies everywhere. And he takes a few steps behind, his back turned. Logus, Kratos God in Vedas. And steel is drawn.
What? Chris, speak your language.
I don't think you liked our gift. And then I'll speak my language. And essentially,
All right. Hold on a moment. Oh, I'm gonna get to that in just one moment. I gotta sort something else out.
What's that?
Okay. I think so. Gris, you're fairly preoccupied with this. Rothgar, you can roll an aptitude, target number of 12 for me. Though you were a bit preoccupied speaking with Gris, perhaps you're looking around for someone else, and you notice that Sylvia's gone.
Rothgar kind of looks around, confused. Chris, did you see Sylvie?
Where's she gone? This is not good. I challenged them to single combat.
Single combat? You with them?
You're just to clarify, you're challenging the Jarl, right? The guy who walked down.
Yeah.
Oh. Let's see. I'm gonna do it. So, Oh, I don't even know if I would roll. That's Norisican honor. There's no way he'd. Oh no. You've picked You may have made a choice you may regret, but it is a choice that will work. He hears single combat, and he's perks up, and he turns around and looks at you. Thomas, steal. And he looks at this Draugr, hands him a blade.
Can you give me sight on one other token so I can see it, or just drag me back over there?
Sure. No, I can give you sight on a token. That's fine.
And then I'm gonna whisper something to Rolfgar as I'm not taking my attention away from the Jarl. Go to get the spear. If you destroy it, they may die. If you take it, they may die. If you take it, they may follow.
All right, I gave you
Are you sure you'll be all right by yourself, Chris?
Oh, either I'll die first, he'll die first, or they all die.
I just brought your token back. Let's say you're not there.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
And
Well, as you wish, Chris.
And then Rothgar runs out of that room at top
Okay.
speed.
all right, and I'll leave your token in there in case you want to see what's going on. Okay, so you're gonna be up there for now, Rothgar, and whatever you see, you see. We're gonna let's do a round of combat between Gris and the Jarl. He comes at you, so you're gonna go first. So go ahead. It's one-on-one combat.
All right. Give him that swing of the sword.
All right.
God damn it. Damn.
He's gonna try to swing back.
Ting, 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 ting.
Yeah, evenly matched combat. So as this is going on, let's go ahead and go up top here, and I'll give you sight up here. Gris, you can see what's going on as well. So Sylvie, obviously you wouldn't be aware of it, Gris, but just for the sake of letting you be able to see it, and I'll shift click it. So Sylvie, you're where you're at, moving towards the room. Rothgar has sprinted up the stairs, and Rothgar, you see what you see.
Sylvie, wait up. We must destroy it or take it away. Chris the Fool seems to have engaged them in one-on-one.
Sylvie kind of spins and looks at Rothgar and nods and says, I do not trust this place, nor him. Come. I do not like that he can speak their language and we do not know what they are saying. I suggest we get the orb and leave immediately.
Leave? Leave Chris to his fate?
He has chosen his fate.
And Rothgar, for once, is like dumbfounded, is saying nothing.
Well, at least let's start with taking the orb. The
Come
Fool
then.
has engaged them in single combat. I don't know what's going through.
We shall find out. Come then. Let us claim it and leave this place. And she turns and heads down the stairs.
So I'll put you guys in that room, and then we'll do another round of good old single combat.
Mm-hmm.
And Gris, I'll let you be able to see in there as well. All right, Gris, go ahead.
Oh, goody. All
This
right.
needs better music, I think.
What the fuck?
Here comes the 16.
Close.
I know.
And their return swing. Oh my
Ooh.
god.
Wrecker, is that you?
Very desperate battle. Clink, clink, clink. Back and forth, trading blows. I may actually have sword effects. I don't. I did not. I was not smart. Alright, so now back to you guys up top here. The well is there.
Rothgar
As you
rushes
left
to
it.
the well.
As does Sylvie.
Looking inside, you look inside. You're just gonna plunge some hands in there. How's this
No,
gonna-
no.
Yeah,
Look
Sylvie
inside.
looks. Mhm.
So you see the water swirling, and there does appear to be an orb. It's not very deep. You know, you could easily go over and just pull it out. The
No,
waters
hold
are
on.
swirling there. Mm-hmm.
Recalling what Ingvar said, something about the water and not touching it.
He said the
Um,
orb, don't touch the orb with your bare hands. But he gave us a special cloth.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
assuming Rothgar had that since you're sitting next
Yes.
to him.
Yeah, Rothgar has it, and he also said bring him some of the water. Rothgar is going to take one more bottle of mead, take a huge swig, offer it to Sylvie if she wants some,
Oh yeah, she takes it.
and then whatever is remaining, he just pours it down. And holding the bottle from its end, he kind of dips it into the water to collect it in the bottle without actually touching the water itself.
Okay. So you get some water in there, and it just looks like normal water. It's got very crisp, clear hues to it. It does look very fresh. And it almost shines in the bottle. You don't, the glass seems fine. It's in glass, I'm assuming, that he gave you.
Yeah,
for his
glass.
bottle. Yeah, it's in the glass. Seems fine. Nothing going on with that.
Take the orb and let's go.
Well, one more, and he kind of takes his sword and just plunges it a little bit in the water and pulls it out to see if anything happens.
So you're pulling the spear out with your sword?
No. Like he's just putting his sword in the water to see if there's any reaction of the sword.
No.
Okay. He kind of sheathes his sword, and he looks at Sylvie, he's a little confused, takes out the cloth, and with his bare hands, he puts the cloth over the spear, his hands through the water, and tries to pick up the spear.
So you pick it up. The waters, as you're doing so, begin to swirl much faster. And as you pull it out, the waters are swirling very quickly. And, the well appears to have gotten deeper after you pull the sphere out. And, I'm going to move you guys back here just a bit. The waters that were once crisp, clear, and blue begin to turn a dark, grimy, gory red. And backing up from recoiling from what you see that is pulling its way through the well, you see something unlike what you have ever seen before, as this horrific creature slowly drags its way out of the well and begins to pull itself fully onto the floor in front of you.
Rothgar, let's go!
Run, Sylvie! Do not wait for me. Get away!
Give me the orb!
Here you go! And he throws the orb to her with the cloth, so that she doesn't touch it.
And she takes the orb and sticks it in her rucksack and begins to run.
Rothgar runs and tries to follow.
It's just gibbering. There's so many mouths on it, gibbering and moving quickly. And as you guys are running out, these creatures burst from the tombs. You guys are gonna have to make reflex 12s to not be injured on the way out, as these very emaciated looking beings all swing at you. Sylvie's fine.
12. I'll use 1 luck point.
Yeah, Sylvie kind of bats one aside with her spear, kind of just getting it out of the way, clearing the path for both her and Rothgar up the stairs.
Rothgar uses his shield to kind of bash a few of them out of his way as he's running up the stairs.
All right, so
that
Sylvie,
luck point was good.
Yeah, Sylvie, you clear it, so you're out of there. Because you were a little bit behind Rothgar and you're a little bigger, you're gonna have to make one more. It's gonna be another DC 12, but this thing's bearing down on you now, so it will hurt you a bit, because it is very quick.
Ooh, okay. Reflexes, right?
Yep.
I have 1 last luck point. Here goes. Run.
Ooh. It was the exact one you needed. So you hear just clattering along the tiles and things breaking and shattering. You even, hear, or maybe out of the corner of your eye, see one of these things get flung against the wall full speed and just absolutely destroyed. As you hear the ground smash behind you, what you can only assume is a missed attempt. by this creature to just absolutely flatten you. But you do make the stairs. You do hear it not far behind. It is too big for the stairs, but it is making itself fit. Grist would no longer see in there. We'll go back down to Grist quickly. All right, Grist, your turn again.
All right. Well, are we hearing all this noise now?
Oh yeah, you heard a roar, and you're hearing just absolute mayhem from upstairs, and all the rest of them are as well. As you're standing here, though, you see these three behind him crumble and disappear, but he remains. Make me a aptitude check.
10 seems to be my lucky number today.
That's gonna be just a bit shy, unfortunately. But he remains for some reason. You're not sure why. Even his cadre collapsed behind. And it just says tomb robbers. And go ahead and roll your reflex for the attack.
Alright, well, I'm attacking. I'm telling them, no, we're just defending ourselves.
Not a 10.
No, much improvement.
And his swing back. What is this?
Balloon fight.
Oh my god.
Battle of the Ages.
We're gonna do one more.
Go ahead.
Again.
Alright, so one more.
Yeah, do another one. Hey, there you go, Grizz.
It's alright, you're gonna roll like a 17.
No, I'm not. Roll your strength.
Let's put some meat behind this swing here.
Oh man.
No.
He rolled a great roll.
Yes, he did.
After many back and forth battles between, back and forth swing, swords clanging, dodging, maybe just straight up whiffing on occasion with some of those, you do land a clean hit that does do some damage. You actually separate one of his fingers from his hand that's wielding the sword. And he will counter strike. There's Grizz.
Oh.
Who does that fire? I'll ask him who Igar is. Who's for the car?
And he tries to swing at you, you may parry it, or he just goes a bit. He's surprised by you bringing that name up or something, throws him off. This is Yingvar, the Destroyer, the creator of the Hell Fiend.
I'll do another strike at him.
Oh, we're gonna pop back up to them.
Alright.
Alright, so you guys are rolling. We're still gonna say you're not in combat, you're fleeing from it, but so we're gonna say you can get to the arch this turn unless you push yourselves with athletics, and you can get a little further. You can get to where the stairs are right here, but if you fail, it will be bad. You will fall. It's gonna be TN of, let's go with very frantic situation, moving at a high speed. Go with 15.
15.
So you've exerted yourselves quite a bit today, and this is a very stressful situation. You're going beyond your typical limits for movement.
Sylvie, as she's running, she's not going to do that. She's kind of keeping a measured pace, figuring that she's going to outrun Rothgar fairly easily. And she actually is kind of hanging back so she doesn't do that. And so as she gets right about there, she screams, "Grass! Grass! Let's go!"
Alright.
And then Rothgar.
Sure, 1 minute. Why are there 2 GMs in this?
Yeah, it's weird.
Hmm?
There's like a lowercase GM.
That's weird.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
that's the issue I was having.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm
you
the
just
big,
typed
I'm
it
the
wrong.
big GM. Yeah, I'm the big GM. So yeah, use the big G and the big M.
Yeah, I sent it to you. Can you please do that?
Absolutely. Let me find it. There it is.
But you've been getting them regardless. I think
I think it's either way.
yeah.
The lowercase GM is just whoever's running the game, and then uppercase GM is just the name I've chosen.
Again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as Rothgar is coming up the stairs, battling up the stairs, he pulls out his battle horn and he starts like blowing it with all his might. And he screams, "Grace, it is time to leave! Now!"
Oh,
And
Chris.
She looks like over her shoulder as she hears the horn blowing.
So, Gris, you know, speak in your old tongue, trying to speak with this individual, and you just. And more or less that's no. Don't believe you. You can. You can either take a hit, or you can, try to. You can take a hit and guaranteed disengage, or you can try to roll a reflex TN 12, take no damage and disengage. But if you fail, you can't.
Alright.
It'll be a strength versus athletics roll, so it won't just be an unmodded, like you'll be able to resist some damage, but he will just get a free attack on you if you're trying to just book it.
Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna, parry and book it.
All right, roll athletics. Only 1 damage. There you go.
Perfect. And then as I'm running, I'll express that, I hold true. And whip my ass out of there.
All right. So you come sprinting up the stairs, and since nobody's down there anymore, I'm gonna remove vision. If I can, there we go. And you come up the stairs after being called and hearing the horn, and you come up just in time to see something horrific burst through the ground where the the stairs are. Just crushes through. You hear a bunch of just gibbering, pretty much, from this thing. And it's just frantically looking around and sees Rothgar and Sylvie in front. You guys get to move again.
Go ahead, Sylvie.
She just is booking it as far as she can.
You can get to the base of the stairs.
She just like sprints past Gris and kind of looks at him sidelong as she like runs by him. Hurry up, Rothgar!
Rothgar comes running behind her. Horn, please.
You need to make him a soundboard.
Well,
I'll make a fucking macro for next time.
Yeah, like Bo did for Chris when he was the Wookiee, so he wouldn't
Wookiee,
talk.
yeah.
And Rothgar comes running behind Sylvie and he says, Grace, follow us. We need to leave now.
I understand.
Rothgar is a direct man.
His exact words. All right, so I'm gonna give this thing one attempt to try to close this massive. And this is a pretty fair distance. It's gonna be hard for him. But he is gonna attempt to. What you would see if you're looking at this thing as you're sprinting, is it rears back on its haunches and attempts to just leap. Because this is a pretty high ceiling tomb. It's just attempting to leap, crash through the archway, and come right at you and land next to you. Is what it's attempting to do. So, let me see. That's pretty difficult. It's gonna need a reflex 18 to do this.
Oh boy.
But it will use a luck die.
Oh boy.
Why do I gotta be in the back?
No, I'm at the back.
Ooh. Oh man. So you see this sprint, fly through the air, crash through this archway. But it seems, if you can see it, whatever counts as a face on this thing, it appears a tad bit dazed after hitting that archway head on, and just lands short right here. It's just quickly righting itself up and writhing around the ground to get up. Also, at the same time, a rather regal figure comes up the stairs.
Oh yes.
And if Draugr no fear, it looks afraid.
Whoops.
He still raises his sword and he runs at it. And then it's your guys' turn again.
Out the door. Yeah, she just starts like basically Wonder Woman's sprinting up the stairs, right? Just like pumping her arms super high and exaggerated. Just begins to climb out.
All right. And we're gonna come back outside.
As I'm leaving, I'm gonna yell the jar, "Golden peace." Or short face.
As soon as they're outside, Rothgar turns to Sylvie and he says, Take flight, Sylvie. We shall find you. Leave now.
No.
Is there let me ask you, hold on.
That is a good question. Give me a moment.
Gris is gonna really stress his really strong disinterest of giving the orb to the old man, and perhaps we should break it. Or hold on to it ourselves for the time being.
Yeah, go ahead and say that.
Yeah.
I'm hearing unsettling things about our old man friend. The Destroyer and the Builder is what they all call them. I think giving this to him is a bad idea.
Yes. It is questionable what we have found here and how it working. No, but we must think about it, and now is not the time. Let us go our separate ways and then convene back at another place. We'll find each other and then discuss in peace without
Roll
this
me
turmoil.
an apt 9 to go ahead and give clear directions.
Who, me?
No,
I'm
it
gonna
says-
use I'm gonna use my luck.
Okay, go ahead. So yeah, that as you guys are deliberating there,
Yeah, you see that Sylvie is looking very like she has this concentrated look on her face, almost like she's not paying attention to what you guys are saying.
Hmm.
And then go ahead, Ghost.
And through the foliage and trees, there's very few breaks in the tree line, but there is one, and through that, you see a Pegasus come crashing through, and is able to find some bit of space just a little bit of ways from the temple that you're standing in front of in a small clearing.
Yep. She whistles and like bounds for the Pegasus as it does the same towards her, and she, with unnatural agility, she just immediately mounts this thing. Doesn't have a saddle, doesn't have spurs or stirrups or anything like that. She just kind of holds on to the back of it. Is the Pegasus able to bear another rider?
It'd be difficult. You do have two rather burly men with you, so
She kind
I
of
think I would have to have an athletics test made by you that's representing your Pegasus.
No, when that happens, Rothgar will scream, "Run, Sylvie, run! Take flight! I shall find you, and so shall Gris. Let us convene at some other time when things are more peaceful. Let us get away from this place, now."
She gives this kind of look of almost regret, and she nods and doesn't say anything as the Pegasus flaps its massive wings, and she begins to rise through the air and fly towards a crack in the canopy of the trees.
And Rothgar and Gris are left, and you hear the sounds of combat below, but it doesn't sound like it's going the way for the the Droger. You hear a lot of wailing that does not sound like a creature. So you don't know how much time you have before he's not holding that thing.
Come, Gris. It is time we flee.
Yes. Let's go to the old man's cave.
The old man's cave? Well, whatever you say, we can discuss that later, but let's get away from this place.
I almost feel bad for leaving the Jarl.
Leaving who here?
The Jarl. The Jarl was... He's one of our ancestors. He's one of the ancients. But he's holding the beast off for now. But I fear the beast is gonna come after us. So we take him right back to the old man.
Ah, I see wisdom in your words. Well, let's try that then. Let's run. It is not going to be an easy next few days.
No, and we shall not stop. We shall just keep going.
Indeed.
Oh man. All right. So you make your way a ways, and you make your way back. Again, some small encounters here and there, but you actually don't run into the beast for any stretch of time there. You make it back to the cavern about midday.
We make it back, but not like all the way up to the cavern, like not in
Right.
sight of Ingvar. Just
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. I'll pull you over here.
Yeah.
So you arrive and you hear from a ways, old man, what you think is Ingvar, sort of humming around and clipping something.
Gris, come clean, for you spoke a lot in that tomb in a language I never understood. What was it that you discussed? Come true.
They were were the monstrosities of dead. They were still able to comprehend. And I explained about my visions of that being the gateway to the Vel, like I did to you. And they said it is not. But I'm thinking different now since the monster came out the well. And then to the Jarl, I explained that we were just travelers. And he saw the glass. And he said Igvar's name. And then drew the glass. So during the combat, I was able to maintain some conversation between parrying sword blows. And that's why I learned that Igvar is the destroyer and builder, he said. As we were being called tomb robbers. I do not trust this old man with anything as powerful. I feel that we should have left it alone. Because who knows what the old man is capable of, or who knows who he's working for. As far as me knowing the language, that I could not tell you. My father never spoke it. People in my village never spoke it. I have no idea where I could have learned it from.
I see. Well, you see, now it kind of makes a little sense. Because a divine voice spoke to me last. Said life and death are both winds in their own way. They must blow free of any control. Man does not control the wind much as he does not control destiny. Why should any man have control over life or death? Destroy this orb or bring it to me. To me, I don't know who it is. But if you are saying that Ingvar is the destroyer and the creator, and Ingvar certainly seems like a man right now, then maybe you're right. Maybe the orb is not to be given to him, but to be given to someone else or destroy it.
I'd agree. Yeah, since we don't know who we have to give it to, maybe we should destroy it. But we'll have to talk to Cillian about that.
As you say that, you hear the neighing of a horse behind you. Somehow you did not see Sylvie just kind of... she's sitting on her horse. The orb is safe and away from here, so Igvar will not be able to claim it, whoever he is.
So, maybe you should tell us now. I had divine voices. Wolfgar has divine voices. What about you?
Divine voices. I am a divine voice, Gris. My mother is Turid. My father is the king of whatever that word is. Is that very long?
Vidolfrofen.
That.
Maybe I should change that.
And she says, I have delivered the orb to its rightful owner, who owns all things, who is the creator of all things, Magnus, who sits high, the god of all.
Oh God, Sylvie.
I am part god. My mother is Turid, raised up from a mortal to godhood, and I am a Valkyrie. I have died and risen again by the wills of the gods.
And with that, Hrothgar kind of falls to one knee, holding the sword upside down on the ground. He kind of bows deeply.
A god. Well, indeed. I would say my companions are powerful and of great virtue. And then Hrothgar gets up. Well, if it was you or Turid, your mother, who spoke to us, then I believe we have done the right thing. Is that correct?
If it was her who spoke to us. And why did you tell us this from the beginning? We could have figured it out all together.
There are snakes in the grass. There's deceivers among men. I do not know about you. She looks to both of you. But for now, you have played your parts and showed honor. She kind of nods to Hrothgar. But what is done, and the god's will has been completed. Magnus, god of gods, has his prize. Now, come with me, and let us deal with Igvar and find the truth of his tongue.
All's well, but see, the voice I heard was a male, so maybe it was your father who was speaking to us. Again, who knows? Maybe this is too powerful for a god to have as well. But I agree. We must deal with Ingar now. I plan on making him talk and telling us what he wanted with it.
It is the last step of our journey together.
Then let's complete the journey.
In that we agree. But watch out, friends, for he might have magics upon him.
Aye, so I don't think you'll be expecting us to grab him up real quick and maybe render him unconscious into a sleep where we can bound him.
Come bearing his gift.
Exactly.
You can never be too careful with mages and witches and druids. Come.
Let's
Listen
go.
this.
Okay, before we proceed, just want to confirm luck goes up by 1 again for me, correct?
Yep.
From 0 to 1. Okay, perfect.
And so Sylvie and Gris have none. Their luck is they use their 1 luck point for the session.
All right. Okay. So, is the plan to make a rock look like the orb and go with deceit, or just go in there with?
That's fine by me.
I was just planning on going up and grabbing him and giving him a good old punch in the face.
That's fine. That'll be weird.
You can do both,
Yeah.
funny enough.
Just
Well-
to drop his guard down.
Well, Sylvie, may I make a suggestion? Why don't you take flight in the Pegasus again and drop a rock on his head from atop? If we are to fail on the ground.
She looks at you and appears very surprised and actually starts laughing. And she reaches out and like caresses your beard and pats you on the chest. Says, "The simplicity of that is astounding. Here, hand me a small rock." And she means a small rock like the size of her fist.
Yeah, and
And
Hrothgar gives it a small rock.
Yeah, she scoops it up and mounts Wind Rider and takes to the air. And she will do just that. She,
Before you drive out, Gris is gonna move in closer, kind of that way. If you miss,
Sure.
or if it's not enough, kind of deal. You gotta get right in there.
So, we shall go. And for this one time, I will not use my horn. It hurts me so, but I see the point being made. My horn shall not be used for this.
Well, we should act joyful, because as far as where he's gonna know if something goes, we completed our mission and we are returning alive. So when he stares at us, he won't see that we mean to figure him out.
Oh, then maybe I can blow my horn. Announce our
can-
presence.
You can blow your horn.
Indeed.
He needs a magical
Oh
horn.
man.
Rothgar. Ingvar, we have returned.
Good news.
Ah, good news, yes. I could use some good news today.
We happened to find that sphere you wanted.
Oh.
And the
Just
monsters.
like you said. Before Gris says that, he says, just like you said, Ingvar. It was in a bowl full of swirling water, and in it lay the orb.
Guarded by the draw on a Drugor. The Jarl.
Ah, terrible, terrible enemies they are. But I am glad to see you are unharmed. Wait, where is the woman?
The
The
woman,
Valkyrie.
she fell. She could not.
Not the. Yes.
Mm,
But not to worry. We revived her, and she is arriving with the spear.
so make a oh god, what's lying?
I'm not
I
gonna
guess
make
we'll go
any of these.
willpower.
Oh no. This is all to just get close to him.
Oh, I see. Wait, she fell?
Yes.
I
She
don't-
fell. Just
Don't-
like you are gonna fall now.
Because it's
And
drops
I'm-
bombs away.
Yeah. So, first he sees you coming towards him, and then he let's see if he's smart enough to realize this could be an issue or not. Because it is simple. It may not be something he considers. He's gonna need a TN 15 to notice. Oh. So he thinks about it. Pegasus, Sylvie. And he happens to look up and sees this rock careening towards him. He's gonna have a difficulty trying to avoid you. Give yourself an additional die, Rothgar, because he's trying to avoid a rock and you at the same time. So roll another
Come on,
d6 on your
D6.
reflex.
Come on, do it. Oh God.
Oh, you got him. So he steps out of the way of the rock that slams into the ground and actually leaves a nice little imprint, but he basically steps into your arms. So, what is the meaning of this?
The meaning? I let Gris explain the meaning while I strangle the life out of you.
And basically, Rothgar, gets his arms around him in like a bear hug, and lifts Ingvar off the ground in the bear hug.
And then while he's doing that, I'm gonna ask him, "What did you want with this feeder?"
And he's like getting picked off the ground. You can hear bones crack, not breaking, but you can hear like he hasn't had his back popped in a while, I guess. That sort of sound. And I'm sorry, what'd you ask him, Gris?
What he really wanted with the sphere.
Exactly what I told you.
You are messing with stuff you do not understand.
I am one of the only ones who understands. His eyes start to glow. Rothgar, so you're gonna have to. I'm gonna say you're gonna have to make a reflex to try to hold on to him here against his roll, because he's trying to break free using some mumbo jumbo.
Okay. Reflex or just strength? A reflex. Okay.
Oh, strength if you want to try to just hold on to him.
Yeah,
through it.
just hold on. Here we go. Do good. Oh God.
Unhand me, brute. He's kind of. It's like this wave of force pushes you backwards and pushes you up against this table. It's like a butchering table. And he backsteps and waves this staff around his wand, this bit of wood he has. It looks like a walking stick, but it's a bit gnarled and twisted, and he's waving. Let us all remain calm.
You sent us into a death trap to get this fear that is powerful. Those the Jarl and his men did not like you. They called you Destroyer and the Builder. And then we learned that you are meddling with stuff that you may not fully understand. And now we're wondering what other trick you're trying to do. Come clean.
Very well. I am Yngvar Yggdrasil, once the Jarl of that very keep that you delved into. The one you met was one of my kinsmen. A younger lad, a cousin. I have existed in this land for 396 years today. And I was one of the first to behold that orb that you were supposed to bring to me.
So you're planning to use the power for what?
To extend your life, Sylvie says, as she's kind of just sitting on the Pegasus some ways behind him.
I have extended my life through magics none of you could even comprehend. No, my intent was redemption. I failed these people. I dabbled in that which I did not understand many years ago. He looks down. I know you saw it. The beast in the well. I created that through foolish means of experimentation. I wanted to be a conqueror. Gods, I was young. My mid-30s, but even then I could see the end. I wanted to be immortal. I wanted to rule. It was misguided. My hubris consumed me. And in my hubris, I created horrific things and damned my people to oblivion. I fled, unwilling to face the consequence. I have had 360 years to ruminate on my failures, that I might learn how to correct them, to undo the misery I've done. That is why I sent you.
Well, it seems normal. There's probably a reason you couldn't go get it yourself, and that's because it's a selfish reason. Now, tell me, because there's others I'm sure that would love to have that sphere. What if they got their hands on it instead of you? What if we gave it to you and they took it from you? Then where will the world be?
It would not happen. You greatly underestimated my power once already. I could have killed you, Hrothgar, if I had put my mind to it, but I wish not violence against you. No, I wish only to undo what I've done. The reason I could not go back, that beast, what I made, I could not face it. I could not strike it down. It required a sacrifice to make. It was my boy. I could not kill my own son, no matter how twisted and horrid he was. That is why it had to be you.
You wish to sacrifice us?
No, I did not wish to sacrifice any of you. I thought you capable.
And what was the sacrifice?
The beast is his boy.
Yes. I poured energies into my child. He was willing. It was wrong. It is no excuse. Everything I did was horrific. I have had time to regret.
Disgusted. She looks at Hrothgar and kind of What is the penance for such depravity?
Gris will then say, it's not for us to decide his sentence. That's for him and the gods.
Ingvar, you say that if you put your mind into it, you could have destroyed me. But it seems unfortunate to put your mind onto yourself and think about what you had asked us. If only you had spoken the truth from the very beginning and seen into our hearts, you would have known that we were true.
How can a man trust anyone nowadays? How could I know you would not strike me down as some sort of unnatural being, or for the deeds that I have done? And how could I even blame you? No, I had to mislead you. It was the only way. I regret it, I truly do, but it was one more wrong to attempt to right all the wrongs I have ever made, and to end the suffering in these woods.
Well, Ingvar, we have all learned a lot today from each other. You from me from you, and everybody else with us. You want to right the wrongs? Well, here's what I propose. We remove the orb and release the beast. The beast is now in the dying woods roaming. You want to repent, then cast aside your emotion and meet that beast. It is no longer your son. It's a beast that's going to mindlessly kill everything in its path. If you wish to destroy the beast, I shall stand beside you. And then whatever may come after that, that is for you to decide.
Aye. But you will not get the sphere. For it is in the gods' hands now.
And at that, he looks extremely dejected and just sits down on the ground, trembling. 360 years. I have ruminated and thought, and I thought it was this close to me today, that I might have it in my hands. And he breaks down a bit. Leave me to the beast. The beast will be drawn to me, and either I shall fall, or it.
Well, I would love to do that. If you shall fall, the beast will still roam and it needs to be stopped.
Sylvie looks at Gris and Rothgar and speaks up. This is not our place. Let him know what pain truly is when the beast comes for him, and for these few hours he might have left, or days, knowing that it will survive, at least for a while. And what he has done, let the guilt wash over him. That is punishment. I live for the gods and their decrees. They tell me to take off my spear against this beast, I will. But now they have not, and I must heed their call.
I fear the gods would call you too late. I'd rather not let the beast roam and eat other innocent people.
Aye. Your words ring true, Sylvie. Yes, it is for Ingvar to repent and wash away his guilt. But I cannot let innocence suffer for Ingvar's mistakes. If the beast is not stopped in the dying woods, it is hard to say what it would do next. No, I have run from that fight, for I did not know what that fight was. But now I understand the fight, and I shall not run again.
So
The beast will not cross the dying woods. That is Rothgar's promise.
The beast could be already out of the dying woods. I think we should stop it here.
She shakes her head and she says, the god of gods Perhaps he will give us a boon. I have given him something. Perhaps he will. And it turns her first to whatever that hideous sound was. And she
It is here.
immediately she takes flight.
Go tell your father to give us the boon.
Oh no, my boy. Just gibbering towards you guys. Very slowly, it's not moving quickly. It's dead set fixed on Ingvar.
Ingvar, maybe you should go up and hold counsel with your boy.
He is beyond reason.
Oh, I didn't mean counsel with words.
Yes, let's see how committed he is to striking down his son. 15. Oh yeah, he's ready. He hesitates for a moment, and he girds himself, he stands up and steadies himself on the staff. Stands very straight. I will lay my child to rest. You said you would assist me, yes?
I shall aid you. Wolfgar, you win.
Yes, like I said, this beast does not leave you alive.
After 360 years, I will do what I should have done many, many an age ago. And we'll bust out one last combat here to wrap this one up. We got...
Witcher music.
You caught me.
I use it all
you
the
guys
time.
will go first.
And Sylvie's just kind of, she's on the Pegasus kind of hovering above, and she just like frowns looking down at Hrothgar in particular. Very well then. For glory! And she just kind of tries to do like a ride by, like she sets her spear like a lance and tries to fly over top of it and jab down of it, and trying to like do a flyby almost.
Go for it. Reflex. Pretty good. You do hit him.
Is that a 5 reflex?
Alright, so you wing him quite a bit as you're doing your flyby into his shoulder, perhaps.
Christine, so we do that, is gonna charge in. I imagine he's pretty big, right?
Oh, he's massive. He's at least, he stands head and shoulders over Hrothgar, who's probably the tallest one here. He's probably about 12 feet tall.
Alright. I'm gonna engage him from the side and swing for one of his legs.
Alright. Go ahead and get up there nice and cozy.
Yeah. Oh, lovey-dovey like.
And we're gonna say Hrothgar is not engaging yet, so no bonus reflex.
That's good.
Oh man, rising to the occasion.
Ooh.
He's rolling like shit. So go ahead, you go ahead and roll strength.
Conan rolling.
Yeah. Taking hits and getting beat up pretty badly here as you're slicing into his leg. Then Hrothgar.
For honor.
And Hrothgar blows his horn once again and screams, "For honor!" Comes charging in with his shield and sword raised.
Now you will get the bonus reflex.
Okay. Oof.
It sort of spins. It spins unnaturally torso pivoting 100 and 300, like almost 180 degrees to avoid your sword swing, which just looks disgusting. And Yingvar, he's gonna try to do some strange mumbo jumbo shit from the back here. He starts speaking in the old tongue. And you see him rough. He's in TN 15. Oh, not so good. Maybe a bit hesitant. You start to feel energy flow within you that's invigorating you, but then his voice wavers, and you feel the energy recede. And now it is the fiend. He's going to spend a luck point, and he's going to attempt to hit both of you at once as a result of spending his luck point. He's got this tentacled hand that sort of distends and swings around. It's barbed and edged, and he swings it at both of you. So it's going to be a reflex check against both of your reflexes. 13. Okay, doesn't hit Gris.
Chris ducks out the way.
Ooh!
Ooh.
Nice.
Way dodges. He's going to spend another luck die to attack again. And he'll spend yet another to do something pretty gnarly.
Ah, hell.
So, after missing, he sort of flails around a bit. And let's see who it's going to be. Chris! So, you see this sort of in the middle there, that spine area right here in the middle of it?
Yeah.
That's actually a gibbering mouth that's been closing open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. And this thing is trying to grab you and force you into that maw.
Oh, man.
So you're going to need to make a DC, it's going to be, you're going to have to beat a 15.
With my reflexes?
With strength or reflex, whichever one you want to use. Or bad things are going to start happening.
Well, I'll go with 5 dice then.
Alright, go for it. Ooh.
Ooh.
So it gets a hold of you, it's very strong, but it just can't quite pull you in, and you break free. It's inches away from being forced into this belly mouth as it is. That's gonna be its turn.
So from above on the Pegasus, Sylvie kind of wheels it around, if you will, in the air, and like does like a swooping circle and flies over top of it. And as she does, she kind of leans over to his side and tries to throw the spear directly down on the back of the thing's neck, kind of as she's going over top of it.
Okay, so no bonus dice on reflex because it's a ranged attack technically, and
Yeah.
they're both in melee, so it'd just be a straight reflex versus reflex.
Nice.
Tie
We
goes
said
to the
tie is the
defender.
defender. So it looks good. It comes in, but then this creature's back is very slick, and it comes in just the wrong angle, and the spear sort of slides off and implants itself in the ground between Gris and Rothgar as you fly by.
So seeing that the spear going flying down, catches moment, Gris is gonna give another big chop swing towards the tentacle arm.
Not quite. It's very, very nimble, and its joints don't seem to follow the natural laws of how joints should work. It can bend them unnaturally to get it out of the way.
Hey, wait. He only
Oh, yeah,
rolled
I got-
4. Roll one more. One more.
Yeah,
DC.
I gotta roll one more. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you're right. Go ahead, Rowan. No, you're fine. I don't know that it's. Yeah, I think even a 6, he'd still.
Just
Oh, yeah, Ty needs to still get it. Oh,
Yep.
there it is. I'm not getting it regardless.
Oh, he might as well. Okay, so Rothgar then.
Oh
Oh
god.
man, well, he could roll 5
Cool,
ones.
though. Yeah.
No. So after a great opening against it, it's starting to settle into its own here, and this is actually a very nimble opponent for its size. And then Yingvar, again, very shaky, is going to try to do... He's actually just going to try to... He starts using a different incantation this time. And it's going to be a check against this. So you see you hear some and then there's a sort of a bolt of force that comes from Yingvar's mouth and flies out and strikes the creature on the shoulder, leaving a scorch mark across its arm and armpit area, and it recoils backwards, and it's its turn again. Okay. So he looks at, let's see, Hrothgar, and he's just going to try to smash you with his tentacled hand.
This one doesn't get a 1 luck die, correct?
Right.
Oof.
Or your athletics.
Athletics.
Oh my god!
There we go.
You're gonna take 3 wounds.
Damn.
As its tentacle hand comes down, and not only does he hit you, the tentacles wrap and constrict and actually start to crack some of your armor and helmet. It's just like trying to squash it like a tin can or something after you.
Unhand me, beast.
And it's gonna spend its last luck die and attempt to go ahead and follow up with another strike from its other hand on you. Ooh.
I am going to use my luck. Last luck die.
Oh.
No.
For your athletics. See how bad it is.
Alright. Low roll you got this, X.
It's gonna be 1 wound. Oh no, it's gonna be 1 wound regardless. It's guaranteed 1 wound when you hit. So.
I go down.
So after squishing Hrothgar a bit, it sort of sets you up, and then with its free hand, it slugs you and launches you back against this table for the second time today, and roars in triumph as it moves its gaze over to Grizz, and it's your guys' turn again.
Go ahead, Grizz. You go first.
Alright, Grizz is gonna smile at him as he goes in for another swing. For honor, for Hrothgar.
Oh. Ooh. Strength. Uh-oh. You got him. Tell us how Grizz slays the beast.
As he goes in, the arms are kind of opening a little bit, and he sees a easy access path to the center area where the mouth is at, and he just stabs in there, and kind of almost seems like he goes into the belly as he guts himself out from the makes an upswing and cuts off the front half, so he go back up and the mouth can't close in on him.
Collapses in a heap, starts falling apart pretty much, and actually starts dissolving as combat ends.
Avar, Light your beast on fire. Get rid of its foulness.
I should have done more. He takes a stick from the fire and walks over.
Release your boy to the heavens.
He runs the torch across this long streak of black hair on where the head appears to be. And the remains begin to catch fire, those that are not dissolving.
May your boy find his peace now.
Sylvie brings her Pegasus over to Rothgar and dismounts quickly, falling to her knees and pulling him into her lap, and basically pulls off his helmet and looks into his eyes. Is it time for you to visit the Hall of the Gods? And she kind of just is like touching his face, trying to decide if he's going to die or not.
He is very clearly unconscious, and at this time it is not certain.
And she turns to Igvar. A poultice! Healing potion, what do you have, old man?
And he turns and looks. Not but words. Dorma Mordvesta. He waves his hand. For all intents and purposes, Rothgar, you are awakened and you feel rejuvenated.
Rodgar's eyes fly open, and the first thing he sees is Sylvie's worried face, and he looks up and, Sylvie, what are you doing down here? The beast. Are you okay?
The beast is slain.
Ah. Well, that is good news. I did take quite a beating. Why do you look so worried?
I have seen those that have passed from this world. I have been the person that has passed from this world, and you were precariously close to the precipice, and I did not wish to see you go so soon. Perhaps we have adventures yet to discover together.
Indeed we do. And not you worry. It's not so easy for Rothgar Haldrason to leave this plane. Not yet. Not until he has friends like you. You there, Gris. And you too in some way, Ingvar. Know this, Ingvar. You may have cost light on this land. But through your actions you have united 3 heroes. And that effort is not in vain. Good may yet come out from your deeds. Good may yet come out from your deeds.
Sylvie, seeing that Rothgar is okay, kind of releases him and steps back and gets to her feet and moves around this way towards Igvar and looks at him and says, "It is time to pay your penance. Face me."
It has been a long time coming. And he turns and looks at you.
She places her spear tip under his chin and says, "I will not escort your soul. You will not enjoy the halls of the gods, but you will know rest at the very least."
I thank you for your mercy. He closes his eyes.
She puts the butt of the spear on the ground and then reaches for the crown of his head and jerks it down onto the spear tip.
And Ingvar is very dead.
And as his body kind of falls to the side with practiced ease, she grabs the spear's haft as he kind of slips off the tip, as if she's done this many times.
If there's any closing
Rodgar
RP.
solemnly looks at what Sylvie has done and nods his head. And then he puts down his shield and sword and lifts Ingvar's body and places it on this wooden table here. And from the fire, he takes a log and sets the table on fire.
May you find some semblance of peace, Ingvar. May you find some semblance of penance and forgiveness in some realm for what you have done.
I believe he has.
He then looks at Gris and Sylvie and he says,
My words were true. What Ingvar may have done is unforgivable, but he did bring us together. We do indeed make a good team. I go back now. I go back to Jorgenfjord.
and he kind of explains to them where it is.
If ever adventure comes your way, come search for me and I'll gladly join you.
Sylvie kind of turns towards you both and says, "We began this adventure with a feast. Let us end it with one. Come to the Hall of the Gods, where we will feast on mead and meat under my mother's protection."
Rodgar's mouth just drops open, Hall of the Gods, but he doesn't say anything.
She kind of walks towards her Pegasus and mounts it and waits to see if you guys are to join her.
I don't think our Pegasus could carry all three of us.
We will walk.
A good feast is needed. It's been a rough few days.
It would be my honor to join
Yes.
you in this feast, Sylvie. Sorry, Lady Sylvie. And you too, Brother Gris.
Aye, it'd be nice to be probably on a short list of mortals that have visited the Hall of the Gods.
Indeed.
My sisters will have interest in you, no doubt. I will speak the tales of your bravery and glory. Hopefully they do not fight over you, your seed. And she kind of chuckles and turns the Pegasus and kind of begins to clop off at a slow pace.
Rodgar gives a look to Gris of little confusion.
Gris is gonna give him a smirk. What are you waiting for? Let's go. Oh, shit.
They quicken the pace as they follow Sylvie.
Alright, and we will call that a session as you acquiesce to the Hall of the Gods for a feast. A very rare honor for mortals.
Stop the recording.
Well, you can hold it for just one moment because I do want to give you a little prelude for the next. So, one way or another, this journey has been completed. Some of you may have realized your goals, while others may have failed or you've been killed. But there are always gods and their servants at work, so do not fret. Glory is plenty to go around in the land of Kedalfrofen, such as the vision that the seers are about to show you. And this is just a little fun prelude. What you see is a boat in the middle of the waves, the Eastern Sea. This is east of where the gods reside. on the islands. There are a few men on board, milling about, minding their business. A few men are directing, cartographers looking at what they believe are accurate ocean maps. Just a trade ship traveling from one end to the other of this land. The waves rumble, they churn and twist. A storm forms where one had not been before on a clear day. And bursting from the waves below, a gargantuan beast arises and devours the ship in its entirety as the crew goes screaming to the depths in its belly. The serpent of the East Sea, after many years of dormancy, has returned. And now you may stop the recording.
Oh.